What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us on yet another Tuesday night. It is Tuesday Night Titans, episode 126 for your Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025. I'm your host, JD from New York, as always, joined by the man who enjoys a nice gingerbread cookie this time of year, the Solomon. So what's going on, brother?
Oh, man, you're getting me hungry now. I don't have any gingerbread cookies here, so I'm a little sad. But you know what? You know what today is?
What's today?
Today is Festivus.
Festivus.
It is a Festivus for the rest of us. This is where you have the airing of grievances.
Oh, we have a lot of those.
We do. It's actually kind of appropriate. We're going to get into those here.
What's your favorite cookie this time of year, man? I know you're a big cookie guy.
Okay,
chocolate chip. Okay.
I keep it simple. Chocolate chip. Actually, you know, the chocolate chip, there are places that will have like a chocolate chip pecan.
Ooh.
You know, some nuts in there. That's very good.
Yeah, I'm a pistachio guy. As far as the nuts go, but as far as Christmas cookie, gingerbread, I love the Italian rainbow cookies. I love a good oatmeal raisin cookie. It's my favorite, though.
Sure.
So, this time of year, man, you know, fall is for the beer and Christmas is for the cookies. It's basically what it boils down to.
Either way, it's a bad combination for your waistline.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Beer and cookies.
Yes.
It's not going to get you in shape.
In moderation, chat, tomorrow and on Thursday, please. But enjoy yourselves. It's going to be a good season. We got 2 of these left for the year. This is quite the ride over here, man. Last week we did almost 44,000 views and 2,100 likes on that episode where you and I debated over John Cena's closing moments of his career. So that was quite the achievement there for the show. That was, I don't want to say, it may be in the top 3 all time since Jason has joined the show. But still, you know, it just goes to show us that the testament for the show and what we provide every Tuesday, you guys enjoy it. And we are very, very grateful that everybody's here. So, again, I want to say thank you to everybody that showed support for last week's show. Got a lot of great comments about last week's show. And thank you. So we're going to continue and keep the ball rolling. We got a great show tonight. We're going to get into some of the news about Andrade. We got AEW World's End. We have some free agent news. We got John Cena. I would say this is a convenient WWE happening. I mean, he was the first guy to show up on Cody's podcast the day after he retired to tell Cody and the rest of the WWE universe the true story about what happened on Saturday night. So I don't find that to be by happenstance. It was all designed to be that way. We'll talk about what John Cena said. He had some interesting quotes from that Cody Rhodes podcast. And we will get into all that today. So thank you guys very much for joining us. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up down below as well. Jason, you can find him on social media. So go and do that for me, please, at Solomonster. And then obviously you know where to find him on YouTube. Everything will be linked down in the description below. And then Super Chats. They will be open until the end of the show. So please make sure you guys go and get those in. Best way to support what we do here on Tuesday night. All right, brother. Got us. What do you want to talk about?
We'll start with something kind of interesting because I know you mentioned that we were going to touch on this. There was a news item today concerning Danhausen.
Yes.
Has been locked under an AEW contract for quite some time, even though we haven't seen him on TV. But there is some news on Danhausen. We
do have news on Danhausen, and I know Danhausen is very good friends with one World Heavyweight Champion on Monday Night Raw, CM Punk, and I know some people in the company are lobbying for him to be brought in. But there was a report that went out. Not only did SAP put something out about Danhausen's contractual status, but then we got a report from WrestleVotes today when they were live. And this is coming from WrestleVotes. They say in an interesting one, I know people there want Danhausen to come over. I know people there aren't so keen on him and his talents. So I don't know where they're going to stand when it's time for him to come to be a free agent. I'm sure there'll be an offer. He's talented. People like him. He's over. I could see them making Danhausen an offer, but I know some people there just don't get it, and that's fair. We'll see. I don't think it's a done deal yet. So Danhausen may finally become a free agent. Fightful Select reported on Sunday that his contract with AEW is about to expire in February, And according to the report, AEW has indicated that he hasn't been backstage in what they say is ages and hasn't been factored into the company's creative plans. He made his debut back in 2022, appearing in a lights-out match between Orange Cassidy and Adam Cole. He associated himself with both Hook and Orange Cassidy before suffering a torn pec muscle. When he returned from injury, he continued to align with Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends before being taken off television for most of 2024. You know, I know WWE is all about making money, Jason, and that's what their main priority is. It will be their main priority for the foreseeable future. I see Danhausen, you know, oddly enough, being brought in because I do think that he would cater to a small section of the audience. He would cater to the children. He would cater to, you know, their campy comedy routine, whether it's with Joe Hendry or The New Day or something along those lines. I can absolutely, or R-Truth. I can absolutely see him fitting in on the WWE Main Roster program if they want something like that. Me personally, I don't know how you feel. I don't really care for him coming on in, but I know Punk is good friends with him. I know The Rock has had some nice things to say about him, which is fucking unbelievable to me. The Rock knows who Danhausen is. And is a fan of
The Rock is a Danhausen fan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he's got some allies there, I think, and some friends. I just look at it and go, I'm sure when WWE first saw Mr. Iguana for the first time, that he was a revelation to them, and they were seeing a lot of merchandising opportunities with him. And I think that Danhausen can work in the same way. I think there is a portion of the audience that he would appeal to. He's a fun character. You know, no one is going to say, oh, he's the hottest free agent, we got to bring him in, and he's going to be, you know, he's going to be in the mix on the main shows. But like, he absolutely can have a role on the show. He's not a character that is, must have. But I think to say that he doesn't bring anything to the table, if there are people there who feel that way, that's just being naive. I think he does. And I think that, you know, he would be a fun addition to the roster. And then you can plug him in wherever, you know, whatever, like you said, it could be a comedy team. It could be something a little bit lower on the card, but he's got his fans and you could absolutely make money off of him. And of course, only if he brings the jar. If he brings the jar.
Well, I was going to ask about the teeth. Do you see the teeth being a merchandise item on shop.com?
Yeah, sure. I mean, they can merchandise anything, dude. Just slap a logo on there and boom, they could sell it for $30 on WWE Shop.
How much are they selling them iguana dolls for?
Probably too much.
I know the Balor doll was going for like $100.
Well, do they have Mr. Iguana dolls on the WWE Shop site?
I don't know, chat. Do they? I haven't looked. I bought that Punk jacket that he was wearing 2 weeks ago. You see that jacket?
I did.
It's a nice jacket.
Let me see. La Yesca, right? That's the name of the iguana?
Yeah.
Let's see. Iguana. Technically, he's a triple. Okay, so they do. Mr. Iguana La Yesca replica plush puppet.
I was going to say $79.99.
$60.
Oh, that's not bad. It's not bad.
Huh. It looks like, dude, it looks like fucking Godzilla. It looks like. That's the first thing I thought of when I looked at it. I guess like a little Godzilla.
Well,
doll.
to be fair, from someone who's ordered off the shop this year, I bought the Penta mask, the Ray Phoenix mask, and the Americano mask before I got, I don't know if it's discontinued or sold out. I don't know if they replenished them, but they were all very good quality. So if that's $60, I would assume that it's good quality. I'm hoping the Punk jacket's good quality too that I ordered. But yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all. But yeah, like Jason said, he would definitely be a moneymaker. I mean, do I care to see him in the ring? I don't really care to see him in the ring on a Monday.
That's not why they would be bringing him in, though.
I know.
I mean, they're not bringing him in to have, you know, 5-star matches. They would be bringing him in because this is a company that has made money in the past on characters and personalities, and so he's a character, right? I mean, I get like some people aren't going to get his form of comedy and what the character really is. But yeah, I think that they could definitely make money off of him.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. February is the expiration date for Danhausen there. I think the last time he wrestled was, it says here, taken off television most of 2024. His most recent appearance was Ring of Honor Final Battle last year, helping out Atlantis Jr. in a match against Mansoor.
Well, last year, not even this year.
No, last year. Yeah.
Okay, so literally a year ago. Wow.
That's a lot of time under lock and key over there. Holy shit. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. I suspect he'll be in. But there was a report as well that WWE was telling people in TNA and AEW that they are not currently hiring new people. Now, Danhausen's one. Andrade was recently in the news. I got to find that news article because Sapp said he was going to put something up in regards to Andrade. I could absolutely see her going to WWE if she wants to. And then obviously the bigger names, Jericho, guys like that, who I definitely see coming in by the time the Royal Rumble hits. But Meltzer talked about this on The Observer, and he says, we were told that as of late, talent from both TNA and AEW who have called WWE have been told that they aren't looking to hire new people. The idea is that they have so many in developmental, many of whom are ready, that they don't need new people. Now, this hiring freeze is reportedly not an absolute rule, with Meltzer clarifying that exceptions would be made for top-tier stars or specific high-value targets. He says this is not an absolute, and obviously guys the level of a Jericho or a Leon Slater wouldn't necessarily fall into that category, Meltzer added. The report comes amidst news that TNA Wrestling has signed several key roster members to short-term extensions. Jake Something, Steve Macklin, Zachary Wentz, and AJ Francis have reportedly inked 3-month deals that will keep them with the promotion through the beginning of 2026. So, I mean...
How is someone like Jake Something not signed to a longer
Bro,
deal?
I said this a few times myself, man. You look at him, and, I mean, outside the name, which you may or may not think is like, you know... I don't mind the name, actually. I think it's quite ingenious. That's just me. But, man, you look at him go. We've called matches of his in House of Glory. You've seen him wrestle on TNA. I mean, the guy's fucking great. I mean, the look of him, how a company can't build around him and make him into a top-tier talent is just unbelievable to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the 3-month extension is nice and all, but it's like, I think you could do a little bit better than that.
Well... I don't know. AJ Francis, I mean, do you want to give him a long-term extension there? I don't know.
I didn't say AJ Francis. I said Jake Something. Pay attention.
Jake Something, yes, I don't know. I'm very confused. I'm confused by a lot of what TNA does. I don't know. I watched 2 pay-per-views this year, and I got more questions than answers coming out of both of them. So I don't know. But yeah, they signed those guys to 3-month extensions. They want to get through this beginning period, which is going to be very important for them because they're debuting on AMC. And Meltzer says this shift in WWE's recruitment strategy follows the recent signing of Joe Hendry, who has already transitioned to the NXT main roster and apparently will be called up imminently to the main roster. So, again, you know, WWE wants to tell people this, but they're going to go out there, and if someone in AEW who catches their eye becomes free, they're going to absolutely jump at signing that talent because that's what they do, and they want to be petty. So, Jericho is coming on in, and Danhausen we just talked about. There's a potential of him coming in. Anna Jay is another name that's a free agent as well. Do they need anybody, Jason? Do you want to add anybody to WWE's roster? I mean, look at the developmental. Look at NXT. There's a bunch of talent down there that are ready and willing to get a spot on Raw and SmackDown.
It's not that I'm looking at anybody in particular that they have to bring in right now. I mean, obviously, as names become available, if you think it's worthwhile, then sure, you have those conversations and bring them in. They have talent right now. I mean, the talent they have on the main roster and the talent that, you know, we have talked about now for quite some time that I think are ready to be called up to either Raw or SmackDown. There's nobody they need, right? Need is not the right word for it. But I do think this idea of like a hiring freeze, it sounds to me more like, okay, we have a recognition that we have, you know, a pretty loaded roster as it is, and we have these young guys and girls who are on their way up. We don't really have any imminent need right now, so we're not sort of in full recruitment mode, but they still have scouts. They're still looking at all these different promotions. I mean, there was just a report that they're looking at, I think, the Knockout Brothers, who are a tag team from New Japan Pro Wrestling. So it's like, of course, they still are looking at these different promotions in other countries, and they will get people that they want to bring in as they see fit. But I don't think they're in, like, full recruitment mode or anything like that. I don't look at it as a hiring freeze. Like, they're going to hire new people, maybe just not as frequently maybe as they were previously.
Yeah, I agree there. And like I said, there's a lot of NXT talents that are ready to get called up. And I know we talked about a few of them coming out of that Saturday night's main event on the 13th of December, one of which was Obafemi. And his name has been in the news a lot. Fans want to see him on the main roster. He's the current NXT World Champion right now. Obafemi, Sol Ruca, and Joe Hendry apparently are all planned for WWE main roster call-ups after impressing on Saturday night's main event. Trick Williams was in the news this week, and he was actually backstage at the most recent SmackDown tapings from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we may see him. I think we'll see him. Apparently, he's got a role in the show on Friday coming up. I don't know what he'll be doing, but apparently he will be on TV. So that's been in the works there. And then, obviously, as of last night, if you watch Monday Night Raw, Michael Cole made it apparent that on more than one occasion, I think he said it twice, that Javon Evans now is a free agent. And he's going to be looking to land with either Raw or SmackDown, which I didn't really...
He said he's about to become a free agent.
Yeah. So he's about to land on the main roster, too, which we just discussed last week about Javon Evans and him possibly maybe getting a run with the NXT Championship. He's only 21 years old. There's no real rush to call him up to the main roster, but I think Jason and I both are in the same camp that if they do call him up, that neither one of us are going to have a problem with that, because I think the main roster needs an injection of life in some way, and Javon Evans certainly brings a lot of injection of life. So that's not a move I'm going to be upset with if they do make it. But everybody else I could see. One name that's omitted from this list, Jason, and I just don't understand why. It's a head scratcher to me, is Jordan Grace. We've mentioned her a few times here as well. How she's not on the list with the Sol Ruka is just unbelievable to me. That woman's ready for the main roster, but 5, 6, 7 of these talent. Ethan Page is ready. There's a lot of people down there that are ready. Can't call everybody up at the same time, but this is going to be a good injection of life to either Raw or SmackDown. SmackDown needs it a lot more than Raw, but both shows could certainly use it. I think this is a great move.
Yeah, well, SmackDown's going to need it more because the show is expanding next week. You know, the SmackDown this week is our final 2-hour SmackDown for the foreseeable future. And then, play the funeral march. And
enjoy
week,
it while you can.
Yeah, and then next week it goes to 3 hours. So I would expect that if they're going to be calling up a bunch of different people, SmackDown, given that there's an extra hour to fill, would kind of get the benefit of that.
Yeah, I don't know where Obafemi fits into that when he gets called up. I could see him making a Rumble appearance. Yeah,
not like the very beginning of the year.
Yeah.
As far as, well, again, they need more help on Fridays on the women's side than anything else. So, if, like, a Jordan Grace was to be called up, which she should be, I would have her on SmackDown. I mean, I'm looking at the SmackDown women's roster. I'm taking Julia and I'm moving her. I'm giving her a lifeline, and I'm throwing her over to the Raw side.
Yeah.
And then you've got enough women, 2-3 different women, you could just call up from NXT, so SmackDown wouldn't have to miss a beat. Because it sounds weird, like, why would you pull women from the women's division on SmackDown? But Julia is just drowning. I don't know if you saw that match with Alba Fire from SmackDown last week.
I did.
And the crowd, I mean, dude, like, I could hear the fans break wind from the upper deck. Like, it was so quiet, nobody cared. It was 2 heels, that didn't help. But she is drowning on that show. And that pairing with Kiana James has been a failure. So I would just move her off the show completely. But then again, you got plenty of women you can call up to SmackDown, and you've got to come up with challengers for Jade. We still don't know when Bianca's going to be back. You know, it's hard to believe that with that hand injury, a few more months, it's going to be a full year, you know, that she's been out.
That's insane.
It's crazy. Everyone's saying, oh, it's broken fingers. Actually, it was a broken knuckle, but she broke the joint, which sounds painful. But still, the idea that we're going on, 9 months? I don't think anybody expected that. So, yeah, you hope that they have her back in time for Mania season, but I've heard no updates on her. So, I don't know.
Yeah, pretty optimistic she'll be back before WrestleMania. You know, another thing we talked about, I'm sure we talked about it here. I think we talked about it last week. I've talked about it myself. You know, the fact that, and going back to what Tony Khan did with AEW, making the Trios Championships, it absolutely affected the tag team division. WWE is doing the same thing with the women's tag team division. Now, all of a sudden, focusing on this women's tag team revolution in WWE, and it's absolutely taking away from both the main championships. Stephanie and more so Jade. There's nobody over there. At least Stephanie has Roxanne and Nikki Bella and Raquel Rodriguez to work with. I know it's not the most exciting of choices, but at least she has some competition there. I don't know what they're going to do. Charlotte and Alexa are more on Raw than anything. I mean, they're going after the tag team championships. You said move Julia to Raw. I put her with the Kabuki Warriors. I don't know why they haven't done that or even thought about doing that. Hopefully that's the case.
Anything is going to be better than what they have her doing now. You know, for the people saying, well, she can't speak English in her promo. She can, actually.
She speaks better English than Asuka and Kairi Sane.
Yes, she does. So, I mean, I don't know where people got this idea from, but I can't blame them, I guess, because it's not like she gets a whole lot of speaking opportunities to begin with on this show. But she is just drowning on SmackDown. I don't see anything changing with the brain trust over there. So yeah, if it's me, I'm moving her over to Raw. There's a bunch of moves that need to be made, and I don't understand why it's taken this long to make them. But as long as they're made, and that includes call-ups at the beginning of the year, then that's great, because that's something that they should have started doing a long time ago. But there's definitely some movement that has to happen because, again, there's been no draft. They didn't do the transfer window again. So, and I don't even think it has to be anything formal, as long as they recognize, okay, we have some holes here in these rosters, especially on Fridays. So what parts go where? What pieces fit where? And what people do we want to call up now, as opposed to holding off on some people maybe until the spring? Because not everybody, you're not going to call everybody up pre-Mania, but coming out of WrestleMania, you can save a few names and call them up coming out of WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think we'll see those core names that we just talked about. Henry's been on television, Sol Ruka, and Javon Evans. So those will be the first three. If you're talking about an Obafemi, Ethan Page, maybe Ricky Saints, Jordan Grace, maybe those are the names that happen after WrestleMania season.
Yeah, like coming out of Stand and Deliver.
Yeah. Contract news here. Continuing with this, Matt Hardy confirms that the Hardy Boys have signed new contracts with TNA. So he was recently quoted saying that they've been re-signed for a while. He wished everybody Merry Christmas because everybody's been wondering what's going on with them. This confirmation comes after a recent report from Fightful Select indicating that the duo had not officially signed new deals. The report indicated that TNA had been utilizing short-term monthly deals like we just mentioned with some talents like Jake Something and AJ Francis for many of its talents to maintain flexibility ahead of the company's move to AMC in mid-January. According to previous reports, sources said that while a deal was expected to be finalized, it was not official at the time. Hardy's comments clarifies that the long-term agreement has already been secured. They are right now in their fourth reign as TNA World Tag Team Champions, which they've held for 154 days. And this comes as TNA prepares for a significant transition going from AXS TV to AMC. Now, in my opinion, I know there was a lot of discussion about, TNA and where they fall in discussion with like WWE and AEW, what they did this year. The way that I look at it, Jason, is I feel like with Matt and Jeff, somehow, some way, and I've said this many times, we're grateful for them even being around 30 years later, still doing what they do. I feel like with them, they're almost more important now in this stage of their career to the company that they're working for than they were 25 years ago, 20 years ago. I do believe that they are absolutely the reason why AMC is the new home for TNA, and I do think that they are two faces at the top, number 1 and 2 of that company. And it's amazing to see their body of work. I mean, they held how many different championships at one time? They were HOG Tag Team Champions.
They still are.
Fourth rope, TNA, and then NXT all at the same time. So, I mean, the body of work for them this year is tremendous.
Well, look at the commercials on AMC. Have you seen any of the preview commercials?
I have not.
Okay, well, I've seen them, and guess who's all over them? Matt and Jeff Hardy. So there's a reason for that. So, yes, they're very important right now to that company. And frankly, a lot of the other companies that they have been working for, when you put their name on the marquee, it has name value. But I also, noticed out of the corner of my eye that we've had a bomb dropped on us.
Oh my God! Look at this.
A mega bomb.
I don't have the chat open. Let me see this here. We have. Oh my goodness! Where is? There you go. Oh my God!
The late call to the bomb squad.
That is crazy. Catch 22 with a $200 super chat. Glad you guys did the show tonight. Merry Christmas and have a great 2026. I'm enjoying a delicious old-fashioned tonight. Cheers, gentlemen. That's another round of applause right there. It's my type of drink right there. So, Catch 22, cheers. I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm drinking black coffee, but cheers, and thank you for being here, and thank you for your generosity. Jason and I both appreciate it.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas.
Old-fashioned, man. What type of whiskey? I want to know. Gentleman Jack is my favorite.
You're speaking his language with that.
Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you guys very much for the support. So yeah, the Hardys, they are more important to TNA now than they have been to any promotion they've been a part of. And like Jason said, anywhere they go, really. I mean, we've seen it firsthand. It's fucking unbelievable the crowds that they draw to any show they're in. I mean, it's wall to wall people. That's like it's claustrophobic almost. It's so crazy.
Yeah, and again, I think also, when it comes to the Hardys, they're in a place now where, I mean, you don't see them doing anything too crazy in what they do, because that's, both of them really, but especially Jeff. I mean, they did a lot of really crazy things in their career and took a lot of big bumps, and they wear it. They wear it on their body now after all these years. So they don't even have to go out there and do anything too crazy. But again, it's the name recognition that they bring. It's the equity that people have. Obviously they have a lot of fans. They go around different places, different states doing these Hardy parties, wherever they go. So, if you're TNA, that's an investment that's worth making. And I think them re-signing with TNA as opposed to because some people might be like, well, why wouldn't they go to WWE? I'm sure WWE would give them a contract or have them split time with NXT or something. I feel like they have the best arrangement possible right now. They're probably the highest paid guys in that entire company, right? I mean, who would be paid higher in TNA than the Hardys?
Nobody.
So I'm sure they're the highest paid guys there, and they still get to work with WWE on occasion. They still get to show up in NXT, but they also still get to make appearances independently, which they would not be able to do most likely if they signed with WWE. So they have that level of freedom. They're making good money, and they get to be the faces of the brand. So I really think it's the best place for them to be right now.
Do you see them eventually in this? I don't know if this is going to be their final run. It may be their final run, their last contract. Do you see them eventually making their way to a WWE ring over the next 2 or 3 years and maybe getting a program on Raw or SmackDown?
Yeah, I mean, eventually they will, but they're going to get the Hall of Fame induction. So, I mean, they're definitely going to have some sort of deal with them at some point. But I think that'll come closer to the end when they are planning to kind of dip out.
Yeah.
When they get closer to whenever that may be. It could be 2 years, 3 years from now. I think that'll happen there towards the end, and then they'll get their Hall of Fame induction.
Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Hardy Boys feud with the New Day or the Usos before they call it quits. I think that could sell some tickets itself if the story's there for sure.
Big WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I just noticed you got a purple microphone cover.
I do.
Where do you get those? I got red and black. Or red and blue. I don't even use them anymore.
I mean, you can get them from all over the place. You can get them on Amazon if you want. But, I mean, they have certain sites that have all kinds of colors. For me, it depends on the mood. I mean, obviously, red for Raw, blue for SmackDown.
You were feeling purple tonight.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of festive, I guess, in a way. I'm like, sure. It's a festive color. No?
Purple's good. Of course it is.
I mean, red really is like a festive color, but that's
generic.
I leave that for Mondays.
Yeah. Keeping with the NXT theme, there was last week we were live, and apparently the chat was going crazy that Blake Monroe lost her Women's North American Championship to Thea Hale. Now, apparently there was news on this because it was not a planned occurrence, and WWE was left scrambling for plans because they had planned to tape the rest of the NXT shows for the year with them coming back in the new year, and they needed to basically scramble to fix this mistake. So after Thea Hale won the Women's North American Championship, some major changes needed to happen. One NXT staff member told Fightful after the situation that it happened at the worst possible time as the brand was finishing up filming for the year so the talent could go home for Christmas. As a result, weeks of creative had already been finalized and filmed. After the title change happened, there was a pretty frantic rush to try to correct things that had already been filmed in order to make sense of them. There was actually an error on WWE's website briefly indicating Blake Monroe had won because that was the planned outcome. The belief internally was that Blake Monroe had the wind knocked out of her prior to what was supposed to be a kick-out attempt, but that wasn't confirmed to be the case. The decision was quickly made to lean into it, with it being blasted all over social media and graphics being made. I know Thea Hale's been having a great time because if you look at her social media, she's everywhere with that championship. WWE had previously not planned the segment that ran with Thea Hale being confronted by Blake Monroe after the match. That was done on short notice and added. One NXT higher-up said that this was going to cause some heavy shifting in policy amongst talent, with wrestlers being booked requiring to stay until the end of the tapings moving forward. Pre-tapes are often done on Mondays in NXT, and even talent that do are likely to be required to stay throughout the following day's show. We're told the rematch is already being discussed internally, and I think if you guys watch the show, New Year's Evil is going to be the place for that. The situation isn't unheard of. Men on a Mission, Mickie James, Razor Ramon, Hardcore Holly, Kevin Owens, amongst others, have won titles in WWE that were not planned. What'd you make of the spot, Jason? I mean, that senton that Thea Hale delivered on Blake Monroe looked fucking brutal. I wasn't surprised that it knocked the wind out of her, but we always look at, the finger of blame being pointed at the referee. In this case, the referee did what I think the referee should have done was counted as a shoot. So that's exactly what he did, even though Blake kind of vaguely got her fucking shoulder up off the mat. I mean, he ended up calling it as he saw it, which I think is a testament to him, and I think that's the way it should go, even though it's going to cause some chaos with the plans. But what'd you make of this about the whole spot? Did you see the clip back on social media?
I saw it, and I think the referee did exactly what he should have done. I mean, how many times have we seen referees hold up their count, and then the crowd groans?
Yeah, I think the last spot was what that Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax, and Jade Cargill match. Remember that one?
Yeah. So I would much rather the referee just count it as a shoot than the other way, because the other way just looks terrible.
Yeah.
Now, I say that as the viewer. I'm sure for them, if they had all these plans mapped out, they're like, fuck, because now the timing is just bad because they're taping television, weeks in advance. So sure, maybe they had to scramble and kind of reschedule a few things. But I could actually look at this and go, maybe things happen for a reason. And they're going to run it back at New Year's Evil, and they're probably going to put the belt back on Blake. But does she really need it? I was thinking about it. She's been down there for 6 months now. And she only had the championship, I know, for 51 days. But she's been there for 6 months. She won the title. We know that she's ready now for Raw or SmackDown. She just opted. It was her choice, I think. She opted to start out in NXT, which is fine. But does she really need to be there for that much longer? Is there a need to kind of rush the championship back onto her? Unless they have some longer term story for Thea where she's going to drop it right away, but then win it back again. Maybe it's stand and deliver, and I guess that's fine. But you know what? Blake Monroe's another one. You mentioned Jordan Grace. Why are we not mentioning her? Why does she have to spend another 6 months in NXT?
No, I agree with you. I think she's ready for the main roster now.
Sure. So, and I'm not even saying it has to happen in the next few weeks, but I kind of look at it and go, maybe these things happen for a reason, and maybe this could be, kind of a sign that she doesn't need to spend too much more time down there. But this stuff happens, Again, I went through a bunch of examples on my end. The Hardcore Holly one I remember because that was a whole, what's going on here? And then they just changed the belt back on Raw the next night. But there was a thing with the U.S. title with Kevin Owens and AJ Styles many years ago at one of the Battleground pay-per-views. And there was an episode of SmackDown where R-Truth accidentally won the U.S. title from Shinsuke Nakamura. And then they kept it on him for a few weeks, but it wasn't supposed to happen. So, look, these things happen, and then you just have to make the most of it. It's not the end of the world. No,
WWE did the only thing they could do, and then they had Thea Hale embrace it. She's all over social media, like I said, with it, parading around, doing the Pete Dunne, holding the title in her teeth. I think it's a good look for her.
But now the thing is, this policy where they're going to have to require people to stick around. I'm like, I don't know why that wasn't done to begin with.
So what were they allowing people to go home after they finished their certain things? I'll see you next week.
Yeah, because I think the first thing she did was she left and she was on her Twitch. She went right on. She was live on Twitch. She had the belt around her neck, and she was but she was twitching and or whatever it's called, and she was interacting with her audience. And I think she went straight home and she went live right away. So, they probably should tell people, hey, stick around in case we need you, in case something goes wrong. That, to me, that should have been a policy to begin with.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. I didn't know I didn't know she went home and started fucking playing video games on Twitch. I don't know.
I saw part of the stream. She was on there. I mean, she was very happy. She was celebrating because she probably knows she's not going to have it for very long. So.
She knows. Yeah. Make the most of it. That's exactly what she's doing. So that was that. Caused a little chaos. Everything will get back to normal. Blake Monroe will probably win the title, like Jason said, though. She could probably get a call up as well if they wanted her to and keep the belt on Thea and just run with that. I mean, she's energetic. She's full of life. She's got a great charisma about her. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Maybe they surprise us at New Year's Evil. There was a note here. There was a note on ESPN. Apparently, they were interested at one point this year in holding the 2025 WWE Draft. Now, they had their eyes on the draft. The idea never came together, and this is according to TC from WrestleVotes. He did a Q&A. ESPN was interested in featuring the WWE Draft on its platform this year. However, WWE's current show structure and creative direction reportedly clashed with ESPN's broadcast style. And
Yeah, I mean, ESPN probably looked at it and go, what? This is how you do a draft? Like, that's awful. We don't want to have anything to do with that.
And the first round pick in the third round goes to Shinsuke Nakamura, coming over
Who was
from
already
SmackDown.
on the fucking who was already on the same fucking show to begin with. Fucking terrible.
So the entire idea was dropped before it could take off, says TC. I know ESPN definitely wanted to have the draft on their platform, but it doesn't really work in a PLE setting. It's more of a Raw or SmackDown thing. He added that WWE's formatting and ESPN's expectations just didn't mesh, making the concept difficult to execute. Beyond the logistics, TC also noted that WWE may be moving away from the draft altogether. With the company's current system of seamlessly bringing of talent from NXT, the draft might not be seen as necessary moving forward.
The drafts are awful. The draft shows that they would do are terrible. So that is why I thought they hit on exactly the right idea last year. You just have this window that's open for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. It was open-ended there for a while. And then you just move the pieces around on the chessboard where you want them to be. You got 2 general managers, so you could play it out in segments on TV. But I understand why they would want to do a draft, because they want to be like a real sport. So we want to make it as realistic as possible, and we want to have the big announcements, and drafts do big ratings, I guess, typically on TV, right? The NFL draft, the NBA draft. But the way the WWE did their drafts was just horrendous. It was terrible. So unless they overhaul the entire thing, I have no interest in seeing a return to those draft shows. So they definitely have moves that need to be made. But unless they can come up with a more fun way of doing it, or do a draft where people actually move around, it's just comical. I remember the last one they did where it was like they go through these rounds, right? 4 or 5 rounds. And I'm looking and I'm like, 80% of these fucking people got drafted to the same show they were already on.
And then the people that WWE puts on these draft shows, like some of them are just head scratchers. Like, why are you going to take a Candice LeRae over drafting somebody else when she hasn't been on television? Like, I don't understand why you would make that draft pick over, like, I don't know.
Well, they don't explain
Tiffany
it.
Stratton they don't.
We don't hear from the general manager, so we don't know what's going through their heads. You know what's going through their heads? This is a stupid fucking move. And I hope they don't have me explain this on television, because there is no explanation for it. And it just makes them look like idiots. So, yeah, the whole thing would need to be overhauled if they're going to do this. But I agree. I just don't think it's necessary.
Now, what is your opinion about the current ecosystem in WWE? Are you one of those people that feel like we should move on from the draft and just end the brand split, or are you okay with the separate roster still?
I think having separate rosters is fine, but I think it's also fine to have mixing when you need to have mixing. So, like, we're not going to have a draft like we had at the very beginning when they first started doing them, which was over 20 years ago. That was when they were like as true to the brand splits as they've ever been. There really wasn't a lot of mixing outside of those key pay-per-views where you would have members of both rosters on the same show. They were also doing split roster pay-per-views back then, which I definitely don't think they need to go back to doing that. Can you imagine a SmackDown-only PLE?
Well, that worked in 2016 when the brand was actually fucking watchable.
Yeah, well, that's not going to work in 2025. I'm sorry. So I don't have an issue with them separating the rosters maybe in like a soft split kind of way. I just sort of accept at this point, like when people randomly show up from Raw on SmackDown and vice versa, like I used to call it out, but it happens so often now and they're so cavalier about it. It's just like, okay, whatever. But I'm not opposed to the idea of having some separation between the two brands. That's fine. Doesn't have to be anything formal, but just the idea of doing the drafts themselves in the way that they did and creating this like 2-night event out of it. I actually thought it actively dragged down the show. It actually made the shows worse, but it's an excuse for them to have cameos from legends, and they call them in. We got Teddy Long out here to make an announcement. Holla at your player. All right, so he does his catchphrase and does a little dance, and then Ron Simmons can show up and say, damn. Like, it's just the same uncreative shit every single time. And I don't want to see it. I have no interest in seeing that.
I'm okay with the draft going away. I'm okay with the brand staying separate. As long as they don't treat their audience watching the show like they're fucking stupid. Like, give me a reason as to why we're seeing someone from Raw show up on SmackDown. What do you like?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I'm just the greatest example I could give you. I always go back to this when they first went to Fox. If you remember,
I know where you're going with this. Yes.
you remember Natty?
Yes.
And the Fox robot,
yes.
and the War Room, and SmackDown has chosen Natalya, and then they have a camera shot of the War Room, and it's like, yeah, and everyone's cheering. You would think like they captured Bin Laden, and it's like the Situation Room, and everyone's like, yeah, and everyone's high fiving and everything.
The fucking
like,
Fox robot on the sidebar, fucking doing the
dance. Yeah, it's like doing the Fox robot dance. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, you would think they just drafted Stone Cold Steve Austin to the show. Like, give me a break.
Don't treat the audience like they're fucking stupid. Like, if you're gonna give me someone from Raw showing up on Friday night and vice versa, give me a reason as to why they're there. WWE actually holds several events / matches throughout the entire year that incorporate both brands: the Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, Elimination Chamber, King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, War Games. Like, if you give me a reason as to why these people are showing up on the opposite show, then fine. And during those moments and those matches and the builds and the storylines to those specific events, I'm all right with it. It always makes the television show better. I'm never going to be opposed to that as long as we get good TV out of it. But at least tell us why and make sense of it. Have fun with it. They don't have fun with it. So I'm all right with it.
Yeah.
Dominic Mysterio. Keeping with the WWE news here. Dominic Mysterio apparently was injured at the AAA show this past Saturday. Meltzer noted that the specific nature of the injury is still being determined, as he talked about this on the Observer Live. He was hurting.
I mean, I didn't need Meltzer to tell me that. I saw that with my own two eyes. Did you see that show?
I did not.
See any of that show?
No, I didn't watch it. My brother was here. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
So the main event, it was Dom and El Grande Americano against Rey Mysterio and Rey Fenix. This was supposed to be the Lucha Brothers reunion.
Yes.
Penta was not cleared. So instead they got Rey and Rey. So Penta was there, and he did a run-in late in the match. But there was a spot where Rey and Dom were working, Rey Mysterio, and Dom were working, and Rey gave his son a suplex. Actually, it was more like it was a suplex. And the way that Dom landed, he kind of came straight down on his shoulder. And from that moment on, he was grabbing at the shoulder, and the referee's talking to him, and Rey's talking to him. And he finished the match. I mean, he did a few more spots, but he was just constantly grabbing at the shoulder. And I'm like, uh-oh. So then the match ends, and they did an angle post-match where he shoved El Grande Americano. And then he went outside. He got his belts. He didn't put the Intercontinental belt over his right shoulder like he did with the AAA belt on his left shoulder. And then he just left. So I knew just watching it, I said, something's not right about this. This is not him just selling. He clearly got hurt. The only question is, how serious did he get hurt? But it made me think of Liv Morgan, because she got hurt doing far less. If you remember how she got hurt, her shoulder just went out, and then she missed, like 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
So the hope is that it's not serious enough where he's going to be on the shelf for like months, or he's going to need surgery. So the shows this week were already taped. They're in the can. So he was on Raw last night, but he looked fine because that was taped before that AAA show. So we're not going to know for at least another week or so what the status is. But he's got 2 titles, and he's a pretty important part of the Judgment Day. So if he has to be, laid up for any extended period of time, that's obviously a bad thing. But it was noticeable to me right away just watching it, just the way he kept grabbing at the shoulder, like something was wrong. Yeah,
this is crunch time. Hopefully it's not that serious, because we're getting into Rumble and Mania season. I know he's going to have some major plans going into both shows. That whole Judgment Day tension is going to continue to build, as we saw last night.
Well, dude, I said the Judgment Day is basically, think about it, the Judgment Day is basically a female faction.
Yeah, I heard you say that. I agree with you.
I mean, if you think about it, like Dom, if he's going to be out for even a little bit of time, JD McDonough, he just had surgery, right? So he's on the shelf for a while. You got Balor, but then really all this drama that they're telling is around Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and Roxanne Perez. At the moment, that's really where the drama is in the Judgment Day. So it really has. It's become more of a female faction than any, and then you just got Balor kind of hanging around there, and there's not a whole lot else going on. So if Dom goes down, it's not good.
Well, I mean, to play off what we saw before Liv got hurt the first time, the tensions between Balor and Liv maybe come into play now, and those two centralized characters could still be on television outside all the injuries, so they could still get to where they need to go with both of them on television.
Yeah, they could. I mean, there haven't been any issues recently between Balor and Liv, so they could always circle back around to it, but there haven't even been hints of it.
No.
It's been more Liv and maybe Raquel or Dom and Liv, but not really
I thought it was going to be Liv and Roxanne. They haven't done anything yet with those two.
No. They're actually more friendly than Liv and Raquel are right now.
Yeah. I don't know, man. The ladies may be the downfall of Judgment Day, and Finn has nothing to do about it, you know? He can't do anything about it. He's got to watch his fucking group burn after 4 years because of the ladies' jealousy and envy.
Maybe it should, because there's all there ever is with the Judgment Day's drama.
I don't know, man. We'll see what happens there. But, yeah, I mean, what is with the shoulder injuries, too? Dominic a shoulder injury, Penta shoulder injury, Rollins shoulder injury, Liv Morgan, a lot of shoulder injury. Gable. What's with the shoulder injuries all of a sudden? It's NXT is the knees and the ACLs, the tearing of the ACLs. On the main roster is everybody's shoulder.
Yeah, and Shane, whatever the injury is with Sheamus, apparently that was a shoulder injury. So, yeah, I don't know. It's funny, though, Gable, now that I mention him, Gable, I believe the belief is that he's going to be back very soon. And it's about that time.
I could see him showing up in the Rumble with Americano face to face.
Yeah, well, I mean, I assume that they have to do something with him in Americano.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because that's just a natural story for him to return to. But I wonder, you know, given what they did, I don't know what they did at the end of the AAA show. You know, where Dom gave him a shove. What happened is he gave El Grande Americano a shove, so then he went off. And then Kaiser shook hands with Phoenix and with Rey Mysterio, like a babyface.
Well, he's incredibly over down there anyway, right?
He's basically a babyface down there. But him shaking hands with them and acting like a babyface, I don't know, maybe that's being done intentionally to prepare for a Chad Gable return, because it's about this time where he should be coming back soon. And I always figured there would be some clash between the two of them. So the question then is, who goes babyface in this? I don't think it should be Gable. So if anything, maybe it should be Americano, and then they can feud out of it.
Gable is a much better heel than he would be a babyface. I agree.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be turning Gable. No. There'll be a time for it, because we know how great of a babyface he can be. We saw the stuff with him and Gunther. Yeah. But that's for much later down the road.
Yeah.
It'd be good to get him back, though. I mean, that is something where if he can heal up and come back soon, he's someone, we keep talking about these NXT stars and calling new faces up. When they get Gable back, they really need to focus on him in a way where it's not just him going out there losing all the time. Like, really focus on him as a major part of the show, because Gable is great. And he could obviously do multiple characters, whatever they want him to do. But it just got to a point where he was losing and losing and losing. And it's like, all right, can we throw the guy a win? Not just when he has a mask on. Like, Chad Gable, can he actually win a match?
Well, I mean, I don't trust this creative team with things like that. I said this last night on my end when I covered Raw last night. It was a tape show. We got fucking Rayo Americano, who we all know was Pete Dunne. Rayo, I mean, he's a fucking loser.
I just look at, I remember, I think rye bread, and that reminds me of Rayo.
Oh, I like rye bread. Yeah, Rayo is Pete Dunne. And I said it's just character assassination. Like they had an okay match, but it's not a Pete Dunne match. So I said it in a way like, we need tag teams on this show. Like, the tag team division on Monday night is obviously suffering. The Usos are not going to be the one and only fix for the tag team division. Yet they had a great tag team with Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne. They did nothing to really kind of show you they put any effort into building who they are, their characters, getting the fans behind them. No, let's throw them to the side and then not use them. And then, okay, we'll just put them underneath masks and pretend like they don't even work here anymore. I'm very confused about what their role is and why you got two esteemed pro wrestlers from the UK scene under fucking masks not doing anything.
Lucha masks, no less.
Yes.
So it's like all the guys that they did, like talented guys that they didn't know what to do with. They decided, we're going to make them Americanos. We're just going to throw them all in this lucha stable, because we don't have anything better for them to do. We don't really know what to, I kind of have expect when LA Knight comes back, he's going to be under a mask. He'll be like, LA Americano or something, and he can lead. We'll just put everybody in that group that we don't quite know what to do with them. But yeah, no, obviously they're very talented and should be doing more. At least they're doing something. I mean, it could be worse. They could be, eating the gingerbread cookies in the back. So not quite a Pete Dunne match, but again, this gimmick, it has a shelf life. It will be over eventually. And then the question becomes, do they go back to the New Catch Republic thing, or do they split them up? Frankly, I think that they probably would be better off being paired back up as a team, because I worry that if you were to separate them, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate individually, do you really see them getting a real spotlight shown on them individually? Probably not. So yeah, they would be a solid addition back to the tag team division on either show.
I don't know, man. I look back at that Tyler Bate run on NXT UK. He had that match with Gunther at was it? Takeover fucking Cardiff. I mean, what the fuck? How you go from that to this? I don't know,
man. You're asking the wrong person.
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Gable back. Maxine is a champion before Gable ever was a champion. Believe that?
You know what? I kind of do, actually. I do.
It's sad.
But to be fair, like, I watched that promo last night, when she came out, and it's rare that she will have the chance to come out to the ring in front of the live crowd and cut a promo, which is good. She needs to be doing more of that. She wasn't bad. I thought it was actually a good promo.
No, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, no. So it's good to see her getting, the opportunity to do more. And, she's still, obviously you could tell she's still very inexperienced, but she has a certain look to her that, Otis and Gable don't have. And so, yes, I'm not surprised that she would be winning championships before Chad Gable would. But hopefully that will change for Gable when he comes back.
Keeping with the WWE theme here, nothing happened on Friday night that was even worth talking about. We did talk about that great Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre home invasion segment. That was great. We won't reveal any spoilers, but there is a match type that WWE is bringing back that they haven't done in God knows how long between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. So we'll save our opinions for when that actually gets formally announced on Friday. We'll talk about that next week on TNT. I got some thoughts already on it because, Jason mentioned it last week, and it's worth reiterating here again tonight that, we're looking at two championship matches, Cody and Drew for the WWE title, and then Braun Breaker, CM Punk for the World's Heavyweight Championship on Monday, January 5th. I don't think they're going to change both championships, even though, we could use a nice shakeup. One or the other is definitely going to happen. At this point, after last night, I don't really see either championship changing right now at the start of the new year, especially the WWE Championship. But we got Braun Breaker, CM Punk planned for January 5th. We got that tag team championship for the women. It's Rhea Ripley and Io Sky right now defending, or actually going up against the defending champions, Kairi Sane and Asuka. Nia Jax and Lash Legend pinned the champions, Jason, on SmackDown clean. So I don't know if you feel like they'll be added to this, making it a triple threat on January 5th, and where Charlotte and Alexa fit into this. Are we looking at maybe kind of a redo of that Evolution Women's Fatal 4-Way for the tag team titles? Maybe do something like that?
They pin the champions. So my belief has always been, if you pin the champions, you should be the champion. But at the very least, if you pin the champions, then you should be in line for a shot next. So they almost have to add them now.
Yeah.
Like, they pinned them clean on TV. Before Asuka beat Rhea Ripley last night, it had been like a month since any of the Kabuki Warriors won a match, either as a team or individually. And Kairi, whenever she's in a singles match, you just have to assume she's in there to lose. So not how I would be booking my champions, if I had any say in the matter. But they got beat, and so yeah, Lash Legend and Nia Jax should be added. And then where does Charlotte and Alexa fit? Probably add them too. And
well, maybe they beat Asuka and Kairi Sane too.
Why not? Sure, just keep beating them. I guess that makes it more likely they retain them in that match.
Probably, yeah.
That works.
Before last night, Asuka was 0-8 against Rhea Ripley. That was her first win against Rhea Ripley. So
I said it was a WrestleMania 37 rematch.
Yeah, so that happened on Friday. Lash Legend and Nia Jax may get added. We'll find out on Friday, which is a tape show. So we'll find out on Friday. Nothing else really happened on Friday. I know Carmelo Hayes is kind of inching closer to the United States Championship, and Ilya Dragunov Again, I won't reveal too much here, but I kind of insinuated that with him kind of backing up Dragunov, that Dragunov is a fighting champion, may end up kind of rewarding Carmelo Hayes for helping him out with another shot at the United States Championship. So if you guys read the spoilers, you know what I'm talking about. If not, you could potentially see that happen there. Again, we won't give away too much. And then on Monday Night Raw, legitimately, I mean, nothing happened on Raw outside of everybody wanting to know why Austin Theory did what he did for the last several weeks. And we got an explanation last night from the man himself where he was confronted by Paul Heyman. And he said that he's made some mistakes along the way, and he loves that the Vision take. And now it's his time to take. And he wanted everybody to see his actions before he actually unmasked. What'd you think of the narrative that he put out there, Jason? Did you find yourself a fan of the explanation as to why he did what he did to help the Vision? Or, again, I don't want to put my conspiracy tinfoil cap on, but he looked very Shield-like in his attire last night. Did you notice that?
Well, he had the black cargo pants on.
Yeah. And he's still utilizing that stomp, too.
Which almost makes it too obvious.
Yeah.
If you want to think about it like that. But yes, there is a theory going around, no pun intended, there is a theory going around that he is an agent of Seth Rollins. And now remember, he helped the Vision win War Games. So that'd be a little weird if he was an agent of Seth Rollins. But we'll find out on January 5th, because if he was an agent of Seth Rollins, then you would think that he would cost Braun Breaker the match and make sure he does not win the World Heavyweight Championship. Because otherwise, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So I can't rule it out completely. And part of it also is, when are we going to get Seth back? Because if Seth's not going to be back on TV for 3 months, I mean, is the idea that he's going to stick with them for 3 months and then they're going to have some big reveal that he was never with them? He was a mole the entire time? It's possible. It's possible, if that's how they want to reintroduce Seth. And that could be his way of sticking it to Paul Heyman. As far as his explanation, what's he going to say? If this was a shoot, he would be like, look, please save me. My booking has sucked for the last few years. I need something different. My career has hit the skids. Would you help me out? Right? That's really what's going on here. He needs something. He needs someone to kind of throw him a life raft. And this is it. So this is either going to work or it's not. He's a good wrestler, but he just doesn't have the credibility, where I feel like if this doesn't work out, that's it. Because where does he go from here? You know what I mean? Like, he's talented, but he just hasn't been given the opportunity to show people whether or not he can be a true top guy. It's one thing to have a good look or whatever. He's still young too, but I think he's like,
what was he, 27?
28. Yeah, 28. So I'm not, it sounds weird to be like, oh, well, if this doesn't work, this 28-year-old, his career is cooked. But you know what? It's hard if this doesn't work, because then you get branded as this, he was a failure here, and this failed, and that failed. And it's like, where do you go from there? So for his sake, I hope it works out. The explanation was very bare bones. It was very basic, but what were you hoping for? Like, what explanation would have been any better than the one that he gave last night, where he said, you guys take, that's me. I'm taking this opportunity. I want to show you that I belong in the Vision and that I can, grab the opportunity, where it comes up and make the most of it. Like he confronted Bronson Reed last night after they announced that he was going to be teaming up with him. And I just love Bronson Reed is like, all right, kid, you just pay attention to what I say, do what I say, you'll be okay. And I'm like, they're treating him like he's a rookie. Like, you would never think that he had been on the main roster for 4 years. You would never think that he wrestled John Cena at WrestleMania. And he spoke up. He goes, no, we're going to do things the way that I say we're going to do them. I'm starting the match, right? He was asserting himself. So they did what you would expect them to do last night. It was pretty basic. Here's my fear for Austin Theory. I almost hope that the Rollins theory is correct. Because if it's not, and he's truly the newest member of the Vision, I look at this and I go, what would be their reason for adding an Austin Theory to the Vision? Why do you think that they would think it's important to get someone like Theory in the Vision?
Well, I don't know. It's just a collection of young, youthful talent. That is the future of the company, the pillars of the company.
I look at this and I go, they need somebody in the Vision who can lose matches. Because They don't want to beat Braun Breaker. They don't really want to beat Bronson Reed, right? Any more than they have to. Well, we need somebody in this group who can eat pins in matches, right? Because if we're going to have all these tag matches on television every week and the Division's not going to win every week. All right, well, Theory is the perfect fall guy, where if we need somebody to lose, we can protect the bronze by having Theory lose. So that's kind of how I look at it. And I hope for his sake that's not the case, but I kind of think that it is.
Well, like you said, we might not be done with the masked man. I mean, there could be another masked man.
Sure.
It could be it could end up being somebody else that we might not know. I mean, Jericho's name was thrown around. Montez Ford's name was thrown around. Someone in the chat said Theory should have came out with the golden egg last night. It would have been a better explanation.
Yeah, well, that would be pretty terrible if he was to do that.
Someone also said his next stop, if he's leaving WWE, is gonna be Juggalo Championship Wrestling next to Vince Russo.
Only if he shows up with the egg there. He should show up in JCW with the egg.
Oh my God,
that's what he should do.
Listen, I mean, who is to it goes both ways. Like, I think Theory is a sound professional wrestler. He's got a great look. I mean, he's decent on the microphone. He's not like blow away great promo, but he's good enough on the microphone to get his point across. Who's to blame here mostly? I mean, Theory has been given shit creative. They didn't do anything with him beating John Cena. I mean, Corey Graves even called that out, which I thought was a great call. Like, how do you beat John Cena and then you don't follow that up? I mean, maybe we should ask Vince McMahon. The Money in the Bank botch where he cashed on the United States Championship, just Triple H needed to get her off of him. And then the tag team with Grayson Waller, which went almost a full year, and they just prolonged the breakup that should have happened in the first 3 months.
Which never really came.
He got injured, and then they broke the team up. Goodbye.
Waller shows up one week. He wants to join the New Day all of a sudden, and he's insulting Austin Theory. We never even got, after all that teasing, we never actually got a formal breakup between the two of them. Like, can you at least shoot an angle on Raw one week where, like, the Vision is walking and they bump into, like, Waller and the New Day, and we get a little interaction between them and they do a match, and Theory just fucking destroys him, just to put some closure on that and make him look like a badass. Like, he could put Grayson Waller out on a fucking stretcher one week. You know, like, he's trying to show his worth and prove his worth to the Vision. We run this place, right? You don't run this place. So let him beat Grayson Waller and, like, stomp him through the fucking ring steps or something, and then have him, like, carried out of the building. At least then we would have some closure to that creative that just is sort of hanging there, that loose end that was never tied up.
I mean, I like to see it. I wish they'd do something to just tie that loose end up. But
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, Vince is to blame. Triple H is definitely to blame. Austin Theory's been saddled with shit creative. I mean, where is he to go? No matter how good you are, how do you make something out of all the chicken shit that they flung at him? You can't. Like, he was just put in a terrible spot. This is it. I agree with everybody uttering those same sentiments. If he doesn't do this and fucking knock this out of the park, which last night was a good first step. Baby steps is going to be the case here, but last night was a good first step. Hopefully they got a creative in mind for him. And, I don't really trust Triple H to really have fun with the fact that Seth Rollins is home recuperating from a shoulder injury and have Austin Theory play some sort of sleeper cell inside the Vision. I don't really see him having fun with this storyline.
He's not home recuperating. He's on all these podcasts. He's everywhere now. He was on another podcast today with Jay Moore.
Yeah, he talked about how he hates Vince Russo and Jim Cornette. I hate those guys. They're jackasses. I'm like, okay. It's great. I'm glad you're making the rounds there, bro.
I'm sure Cornette will have a very measured response to the Seth Rollins comment.
Yes. So that was Monday Night Raw. Braun Breaker cut another spirited promo on CM Punk, which the show ended in the same way it ended last week with him taking a spear. So it's like, all right, is Punk going to retain the championship? It's certainly looking more and more like he will, because how many times can he take a spear at the end of these shows and then lose the championship? But,
there was one more thing I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
So we found out that on Raw next week, we are getting a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. And it's going to be Stephanie defending against both Nikki Bella and Raquel Rodriguez. And we had a Nikki Bella promo last night. She came out, she stood up on the announce desk, which I guess everybody does that now. And she got a lot of heat, right? People don't like her. She said, I'm a celebrity, I'm worldwide known, and all this other stuff. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, they're going to put the title on her next week. Because you saw the drama with Raquel and Liv and Roxanne. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, that's going to cost Raquel next week. Raquel's not winning anything next week. So that Judgment Day drama will play out however it's going to play out, because she basically cost Roxanne her match against Bayley last night. And I think, I seriously, I think that they would have Nikki beat Raquel based off of that, like a distraction or something. So they don't even have to pin Stephanie. Watch them put the championship on Nikki Bella next week.
You know, I'm not even going to doubt you, because normally you say something and then it's a better chance of it happening than not. I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong too. But I'm watching this going, it makes sense. She does get heat.
Well, she got heat last night because she mentioned Ohio State and the Philadelphia Eagles in Michigan.
Well, she was getting heat even when she first walked out there. People just didn't want to hear her talk. And then she got the cheap heat with the sports references, and then they booed even louder.
You know why she mentioned the Eagles, though, right? She's dating an Eagles football player, supposedly.
Well, that's a rumor.
Yeah, supposedly.
But she's dating an Eagles football player that's like 22, right?
Yes. Good for him, I guess.
What is she, 40?
Yeah, she don't look it.
No, not at all. I'm just saying, like, it's a rumor. I don't think it's been confirmed.
Well, I mean,
but sure. So anyway, it might be go away heat, but she gets heat nonetheless. But I just look at it and I go, not just for the Raquel stuff, but also the Survivor Series match felt like that should be a one and done, and it wasn't. And so she's still hanging around here in the women's world title picture, and it's like, why? Are they doing it just to kill time and, you know, get another match for Stephanie until they move her on to whoever the next challenger is going to be? Or is there a plan here to actually put the championship on Nikki Bella, even if it's brief, even if it's for like one PLE cycle? Yeah, I think that there's a very good chance that that happens. And now that they've made it a triple threat, and with all the Raquel nonsense going on, I could see her backdooring her way into a championship next week.
well, I mean, they have to pay this off somehow. I mean, she turned heel. She got heat last night by the cheapest way possible, which is still heat. And
Sure.
she came out wearing all black. So now you know that she's the definitive heel.
And let's be honest. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's not like there's a lot going on with Stephanie right now.
Outside the one move.
She's very cold. I mean, she's popular. I'm not saying she's not popular, and I think she's great, but there's not a whole lot there right now. Like there's just I could see them looking at it going, okay, we'll get more heat by putting the belt on Nikki, and then maybe having Stephanie chase for a month or whatever to try to get the championship back. That will then carry us into Rumble season. If we get the belt back on Stephanie, then we could just figure out, okay, what are we doing with her at WrestleMania? I'm just saying, put that out there.
You may be right. I don't know how you have her as your world champion and then not have a solid plan to back her after you gave her 4 titles in one singular year. Like, I don't understand. You opted to not put the title on EO and decided to put it on Stephanie, and then you had no plans to follow up with Stephanie as champion. Yet you're focusing all your energy on the women's tag team division, which let's be honest, is nothing more than a division of singles wrestlers parading around as a tag team. Like, that's very bizarre to me. Like, I don't really understand the creative logic behind that one. Like, it's if they put as much effort into this tag team shit as they are, and give some of that to Stephanie, I think we'd be all right. But they're not. It's completely one-sided.
I think there's a very real chance that after next week, we will have Jade Cargill and Nikki Bella as our women's world champions in this company.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty rough shape going into 2026, to tell you right now. Fucking ridiculous. What does this say? Inferno Joe says brief mode. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah. But it's true. I mean, again, I hate to say it, but it's been a very unimpressive reign so far for Stephanie. They just haven't given her a whole lot to work with, and she's mostly a ghost on these shows. She's not really heavily focused on. Nikki at least comes out, and you know they use her as a heat magnet because they know the people don't like her, so they're leaning into it, which is probably the right move to make. And she's going out there talking about I'm a legend and I'm a champion and, all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, I think they're going to put the belt on her.
Do you see Stephanie walking into Mania as champion?
Walking into Mania as champion? Yes, I do.
If that's the case, who's the best opponent for her right now? If you were to take a stab at it from what we see on television, who do you think Stephanie is going to wrestle at WrestleMania?
Right now, I would say Rhea Ripley. But I think it's either Rhea or Liv.
I could see Liv. I could see that.
Because they've teased it. Not just Liv. That was one segment. But even with Rhea, they've had a couple of run-ins, and you hear the crowd reaction. Like, oh, they want to see that match. And I feel like Rhea's been out of the world title picture now for a while. So to me, that would be like the biggest match you could do. But if not Rhea, then I would think Stephanie and Liv would be the match to do.
It's going to be someone in that promotional teaser that we see every week with them at the casino. Liv.
Stephanie's not in that, right?
No.
I don't think she's in that. So she's not in it, but Rhea is and Liv is.
Yes. We'll see what happens there. Again, give me some solid story, and then maybe Stephanie will be more over than she is on television, but they haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, Nelson says Becky. You know what? I could see that too. Stephanie and Becky. You know what? Honestly, with the work that she's done this year, that could be just what Stephanie needs.
Yes. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah, working with someone like Becky, I think Becky would find a way to make that work. And with Becky, that that they're going to put a decent amount of focus on that.
Yeah,
it won't be an afterthought. So that's not a bad idea.
Does she win the title back next week on January 5th? Because I know they made that match official last night. It would be Becky and Maxine on January 5th, the IC title. Do they give the title back to Becky?
No.
Do you think Natty shows up and saves Maxine?
I think she probably from like a post-match attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I could see that. If the rumors are true and they want to establish this blood sport, Natty character on TV, that would be the way to do it.
Yeah.
Sticks up for her, and then they could do a Becky and Natty match on TV.
So more problems on SmackDown with the women's division, but there are plenty on Monday night. They need to fix that for sure at the top of the card. Let's go into the John Cena stuff, and then we'll get to some AEW stuff, finish off with that, and we'll get to your super chats. John Cena, he was on Cody Rhodes' What Do You Want to Talk About podcast.
I was watching two politicians having a conversation with each other.
At 9 o'clock in the morning, apparently, drinking Wheatley's vodka.
Drinking Wheatley vodka.
Which I have not tried because I'm not a vodka guy, but... John Cena sat down with Cody. Cody got the first stab at John Cena post-retirement, legitimately 24 hours after he retired. Clearly a WWE call. They want to control the narrative there. They want John Cena on a platform that they trust to go and just explain to everybody what happened because it just caused a lot of controversy. So Cena talked about why he smiled before he tapped out. One of the biggest talking points coming out of the show on the 13th. It was my time to take my last breath and go peacefully, he says. So Cena says, and I quote, he took his last breath, surrounded by loved ones, rather than a simple athletic defeat is what they were going for.
What a depressing image, by the way. Makes it sound like he's got some terminal illness and he's like laying there taking his dying breath.
Stories. They're trying to tell cinematic stories.
Yeah.
I envisioned something beautiful. Saturday far exceeded whatever was in my heart and soul. I know I'm out there one last time. I'm out there. They hate the guy I'm working with. They universally cheer me. That is fucking rare. For the last 5 minutes, everything I preach about story, drama, and having a conversation with the audience, the ones I love are in the front row. I know my colleagues are watching on the monitor in the back. Cena went on to detail the storytelling mechanics of the final moments, describing the sleeper hold, not just being a wrestling maneuver, but as a vehicle for a final emotional exchange with the audience. He compared the struggle in the hold to the final moments of life, where one holds on just long enough to say goodbye before finally letting go. We're just in a sleeper hold, but we're having that conversation with the audience as I essentially take my last breath and have struggled. You think of somebody, the natural cause... This guy's got... This guy pulled out a miniature violin.
I'll give you the world's smallest violin here.
Oh my God, man.
Let's continue.
You think of somebody with natural causes or however we picture loss in life. All of us have been through it. They struggle and struggle, but they hang on long enough to make sure to say goodbye to everyone that is meaningful in their lives. The whole day was so many meaningful and vulnerable conversations. Then you realize I've connected with everybody I love. Physically, I feel great. I think it's time to take that last breath. I hate to keep going back to obituaries, but that was, this person died peacefully. Bro, did he go overboard with the explanation, man?
Do you think?
Should he have just left it to let fans interpret it the way that they want?
You know what? It was a no-win situation. No matter how he explained it, you have people who liked it, you have people who didn't. So, you know, that clearly was how he saw it. If you look at the smile on his face, he was looking at it, who I can only assume was his wife in the crowd or whatever. Again, my issue was not so much that he lost, it was the way in which he lost. Because it felt to me like Gunther didn't earn it. That was my biggest issue with it. But for him, he used the word art a lot. It's my art. And I knew that it was going to be criticized when I put it out there. Because it was mine, but now I let it out to everybody else. And everyone's going to have different interpretations of my art. So, yes, I didn't like his art.
Listen, at the end of the day, everybody may be overthinking this. Maybe John Cena went with the one ending that was going to get everybody talking for fucking years and years and years after it happened. And that's what they went for. You see the reaction to everybody.
Sure. It sounded to be like, you know, he understands that there's a lot of people who didn't like the way it went down, and he's trying to explain, well, this is what I was trying to go for, and this is what I had in my mind, the image I had in my head, and it's my art, and this is how I viewed it through that lens, and sure. Look, I mean, as long as he retired the way that he wanted to retire, good for him. I'm happy for him. But you're not going to change a lot of minds on the finish. You either like it or you didn't. It's a very polarizing finish. It will be polarizing years from now when people look back at it. But it is what it is.
Well, I'll tell you what. WWE needs to move on from Gunther coming out and calling John Cena a bitch and standing on the commentary table. Before long, that's going to get old very quickly.
Did you notice, like, last night? I'm sure it was because the show wasn't live, but they actually censored the word bitch.
Yeah,
like last week,
I heard you talk about it. I didn't talk about it, but I did hear. I don't know why they do these
what
things.
the fuck? Like, we hear people use that word on this show on most, maybe not every week, but like most weeks. But like last week, he dropped bitch a couple of times, and like I'm watching this and I'm taking notes as he's speaking, and then I hear like the word is muted. I go, wait, did that just happen? And I rewound it. I go, yeah, they actually censored the word bitch. So at least I guess when they archive these shows, it's censored. On Netflix, the word bitch.
That's very weird because Jade Cargill has been coming out saying that she's literally that bitch every week.
That's her catchphrase.
Yeah.
I'm that bitch, which apparently on USA, I guess, is okay. But on Netflix, it's not. That's very strange.
You know, for the price we're paying for a premium package on Netflix, I'd like my curse words included. Apparently, we can't get that. I don't know. It's already weird. I don't know what the criteria is there. Like you mentioned, I don't know who makes these decisions. Really,
it's not like they're going to violate any FCC rules on Netflix. I just don't understand.
I'm sure the people who are in charge of Netflix have used a lot worse language, for sure. Anyway.
I'm sure they used that language when they had that latest Paramount bid that came in to try to take Warner Brothers Discovery from them.
Or maybe WWE not cracking the top 10 for a third week in a row on their fucking charts. I don't know what.
Son of a bitch.
Anyway, John Cena addresses The Rock and Travis Scott's disappearance from WWE storyline. He talked about this with Cody Rhodes. Hey, you have The Rock and Travis Scott, he says. Awesome, we can plan all this stuff. Hey, you don't have these two guys anymore. Not once did you and I, the world, has had conversations of what would it have been like. The two guys in it, their dick in the dirt. Not once had a conversation about it. Man, what could have been if we had those guys? No, it was, what do we do now? Well, John, I think a lot of people fucking cared about it because The Rock left a storyline so open-ended you could fit the entire fucking Titan Tower in the fucking building. Like, how did he go and say such nonsensical shit about, well, you and I didn't give a shit about it. We just wanted to move on and say, what do we do now? What's next? Like, you can't leave the fans hanging like that with such an open-ended storyline.
Well, you sort of buried the lead where he out, and we already knew this, but he outright admitted that the heel turn was only done for a viral moment.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Yeah, but he literally came out and said it. To hear him say it, I was happy to hear him say that because it was plain as day. That was the only reason it was done. There was no real forethought given into where we go from here. What's the plan coming out of it? And so he's like, yeah, no, it's all about the viral moments. And we thought it would make for a good viral moment, which it did. But of course, the problem is what came then on day 2. And there was no plan for it. But the bigger thing is this. He was talking about The Rock and Travis Scott. And you could tell that it bothers him. And that I believe that the way John Cena really feels, and you're never going to pull it out of him because he's very careful in what he says, and he doesn't want to bury certain people and throw people under the bus, whether it be Triple H or The Rock. But I don't believe that he believes a lot of the shit that comes out of his mouth in these interviews. So he was talking about The Rock and Travis Scott, and he goes, all right, let's go. What was the word he used? Let's go down something lane. Hypothetical street.
Yeah. Let's walk down hypothetical street. He says
hypothetical street. Where is that located, by the way? I'd like to know. He goes, well, let's walk down hypothetical street, and let's say that the parties involved, he wouldn't even name them, stuck around until August. Then we're deprived of John Cena and Randy Orton. We're robbed of John Cena and CM Punk. We're robbed of John Cena and AJ Styles. And John Cena and Ron Cena, which would have been for the better because those matches
you could rob me of that one. Go ahead, take it.
You can rob us of that one. That's fine. But I'm listening to him say this, and I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, so if Rock and Travis Scott stuck around, then obviously they're not going to be on the show weekly. But if they were sticking around for the purposes of this angle through SummerSlam time, how does that deprive us of all of these matches? You mean to tell me that just because they would have stuck around, they wouldn't have done the obvious matches that they would have done on a John Cena retirement tour? Like John Cena and Randy Orton is not going to happen because The Rock is around. John Cena and CM Punk is not going to happen because Travis Scott is hanging around.
CM Punk was on Raw calling Rock a bald fraud. What are you talking about? There's a tie-in right there.
It would have worked out even better if Rock was around for a couple of promos on TV. How much better would that have been? Because we would have gotten maybe some mic interaction between Rock and Punk, even if Rock only showed up for 1 week that month. But I don't understand where he's coming from and the logic in that statement. How are we robbed of all of these matches that he was going down a laundry list? Was he not going to wrestle for those 6 months?
That's what I was going to say. What's the better question? Who's he going to wrestle if not those guys?
Yeah, I mean, who's he going to wrestle? He's going to fucking Otis? Who's he going to wrestle?
Maybe he goes down to the performance or wrestles the NXT kids. I don't know.
Nothing he was saying made any sense because there's no explanation that he could give that A, is going to satisfy people, and B, is going to be anything other than what we already know it is. Rock would not show up. Travis Scott, he just flaked out. He was going to do something, but he flaked out. And so I'm not even blaming Cena for that. But he sounds very defensive when he's answering these questions like, yeah, but who cares? Or, yeah, but let's game this out. If they were around, we wouldn't have this and we wouldn't have that. It's like, dude, you don't believe a word that's coming out of your own mouth. I don't believe that he believes that. I think he's trying to do damage control, which is not his job because he himself did not do anything wrong on that. But what he's saying doesn't make any sense. It's just bizarre. It's a bizarre way of explaining it.
I don't know. Everybody feels differently about something. John Cena won his 17th in a way that is going to be universally looked at as one of the worst WrestleMania moments in history. And it was one of the worst WrestleMania matches of all time. I don't know how he looks at that and is proud of that in his final year, winning number 17, breaking the quote-unquote record of WWE World title reigns. And then his heel turn, which was basically dropped on an episode of SmackDown because they had 4 months to go and they need to turn this guy babyface, and they don't have the characters on television that helped him turn heel in the first place
to turn against. JD, what a great story that was. The journey of redemption for John Cena, his journey back to being a babyface. Didn't you enjoy that story, the way that all played out?
I mean, I'd pay top dollar to see it all happen all over again, On
that one episode of SmackDown.
But, I mean, you're a human being me anyway, I'm looking at that and I'm not happy with that. Sleeping down on my pillow at night, I'm thinking about my year. I'm looking back at that and I'm not happy with that. I'm thinking to myself, man, I wish I had a redo. Like, how are you happy with that? Like, I understand, like, yes, we talked about he's a politician. Yes, he's not going to badmouth the company that he worked for 25 years and he's just signed an ambassador deal. Sure. He doesn't want to bury The Rock. But
it was somebody emailed me about this and I had forgotten about it. In the interview that he did with Chris, he did an interview with Chris Van Vliet.
Yeah.
And I think Chris asked him a question, and I think it was something to the effect of the idea of turning heel or the heel turn. Like, were you excited by that? Did that get you excited? Which sounds like a pretty straightforward question. And his response was, everything excites me.
That's what he said. That's what he said. When Chris asked him about winning number 17. How did you feel in the moment winning number 17, breaking the record? I was happy about it. I'm just looking forward to shaking the hand of whoever breaks the record and wins 18. Like, the fuck? Yeah. What are you feeling in that moment about holding the belt up in the air at the end of the biggest show of the year? What are you feeling?
Well, he said that this like the answer to the Intercontinental title question, where it was very clear he didn't give a shit.
I'm just happy to work with Dominic Mysterio.
Like, what did it mean to you? Well, it meant a lot to a lot of people. Yes, but what did it mean to you?
We made the Marks happy. I'm just happy to work with Dominic.
It's like the most frustrating interview.
So he goes down this hypothetical street. He says, so yes, the story that might have been had star power.
Hypothetical street is next to Bullshit Boulevard.
And Gravity and who knows what, but we got by just being like, these are the pieces left. What we got for me personally was beautiful. It wasn't beautiful, I'll tell you that. Wasn't anything exciting at all. WWE Retirement Tour, he says, was the cycle of someone facing the end of their life. So Cena has revealed his final year and what it meant to him and the creative risks and even fail in order to leave a lasting impact here in his final year. Cena explained that he wanted to show younger talent the importance of being brave and taking swings, even if they result in polarizing feedback. I am on my way out. This would be the easy way to do it. I want you to know that I'm making brave, courageous decisions that will have polarizing and critical feedback, and I'm still trying to fail, and I'm desperately trying to fail on my way out the door. And it sounds like a fucking it sounds like a Chat GPT fucking spit out response, bro.
He's trying to fail. Well, then I guess this was the most successful retirement tour ever.
In February, they just wanted to make a moment, and they asked me to be a part of it. Holy hell, what a challenge to me creatively. So the loss of that good side at all costs to get that was easy to explain. I'll do whatever the fuck you guys want. Just stay on the face for longer than you think. He describes the arc of his final year as a chronicle of the cycle of life, moving on from denial and bargaining to acceptance. The whole tour, the year story for me is just the cycle of someone facing the end of their life. I got a raw deal. Yeah, sure you did. I want this one more time and then realizing like, oh, I've kind of been a prick and gone against my values. The cycle of life, bro. The chronicle of the cycle of life.
Hey, remember what the story was. I'm going to ruin wrestling.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Who got the raw deal? WWE or the fans? John Cena or the fans?
The fans. Because WWE did it to themselves. But I just love it how, like, at WrestleMania and those shows when he was a heel, he would come out to just the very plain, like, black and white, right? Just a John Cena. And it's just black and white. All the colors were gone. But then he would walk out in his, like, bright colored T-shirts. Because the T-shirts never changed because they already had them made. So it's like, we're still going to sell the T-shirt. They never fully committed to, like, a true heel turn. That's why it didn't work, really, more than anything else. Well, there's a few reasons why, but it was so half-assed. Like, no, you people want me to change my music. You people want me to wear different gear. I'm not going to do that. Like, it was like they tried to weave it into the explanation of, like, him trying to get heat with the fans for not giving them what they want, but it was such a half-assed, just, like, nonsensical bullshit way of doing it. But we got the T-shirts, though, right? We got the nice, bright colored T-shirts in every city that we could sell. That's why it was never going to work. He wanted to sell T-shirts. And the people didn't want to boo him because it was their last chance to go and see him. So the whole thing was doomed from the start. Rock not showing up, just obviously, I mean, that was the death blow. But, look, what's done is done. There's nothing we can do about it. The potential was there for it to be something really fun, and it was anything but that.
Listen, nobody's going to convince me. I know it's been uttered by some. I know I've talked about it a lot. I'm going to reiterate it again here. We don't know what the future holds for us with this current administration. I think The Rock, and we talked about this back during the Pat McAfee episode where we talked about The Rock's ridiculous comments on Pat McAfee's show. I genuinely think that there is a power struggle, and The Rock opted not to show up because he wanted to fuck over Triple H. Now, I'm not excusing Triple H, but I do think that there is something going on there that we don't really know or understand. And I think The Rock was supposed to be at WrestleMania, and I know for a fact that, you know, we should have gotten him for sure because, I mean, it was just so open-ended. There was no other explanation for anything that they did. I do think that there is a power struggle. I don't know when we're going to see that play out, but, you know, who knows? We may get a WWE run by $7 Productions in fucking 5 years. We don't know.
Brian Gewirtz is the head writer again?
Yeah.
He would be Rock. He would be The Rock probably what like Patterson was to Vince.
Yeah. Again,
Or
that's the way I feel. But again, I do think that it really put a damper on John Cena's run here. All right, we'll shift gears to W. We got a pay-per-view on Saturday. AEW World's End from the Now Arena in Schaumburg in the shadow of Chicago. It is this Saturday. We got the Continental Classic finishing up, and we got a big fatal four-way for the AEW World Championship, which we're going to get into in just a second. I do want to touch upon this first because I do think that he will end up back on TV imminently with AEW, and that is Andrade. There's an update on Andrade. He made a splash this week. He appeared at the House of Glory show at the end of their show this past weekend, and he attacked Charles Mason, their world champion. He also showed up, or will be showing up, for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Fightful confirmed with those familiar with the situation that he's also eligible to sign with AEW, TNA, AAA, CMLL, any company he wishes to. It was stated that his deal with the WWE officially came to an end around December 12th. So we're told, says Fightful, that Roosh introduced Andrade to an attorney and a representative that worked closely with WWE for years.
Was it the Beast Mortos?
Maybe. I don't fucking know. It's got to be.
WWE didn't want to fuck with him. They're like, all right, here, we'll give you 100% full release.
Well, he's got a 1-year non-compete. Rawr! And that's it. That's all it took, man. One phone call on that. And helped get the year-long non-compete waived. Those that we spoke to over a month ago didn't expect it to stand, but claimed that the situation was handled very professionally in the end. WWE had not paid him since his departure, and an agreement was reached for Andrade to be eligible to sign elsewhere. When Andrade was terminated, his visa effectively was as well, as the sponsorship that WWE provided was over. However, we're told that Andrade is back in the United States for the time being, and the visa situation is being handled. Tony Khan and AEW have remained positive about Andrade's future in the company and believed he would be back sooner rather than later. We're told that when the legal situation with WWE happened, they wanted to make the transition for him as smooth as possible as to not cause any more issues. Number one, Jason, I'm glad that this is over with. This actually ended quicker than I think I had anticipated. I was expecting maybe the beginning of the next year. They got this done before the holidays, which is amazing.
Well, let me stop you for a second. I got to wish a happy holiday, Merry Christmas to Issa, who is with us in the chat. NYC Demon Diva, happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Issa. We love you. I miss you. And Merry Christmas and happy holidays to all the Demonites out there. Always great to see Issa in the chat. Happy that he's back, Jason. He's way too talented to not be on television anywhere. And I do think that he ends up back with AEW. I don't know in what capacity, but I mean, Kenny Omega, they had to move on from the Kenny Omega situation because of his legal situation. But to get him back integrated into that, I think that's where we're going.
Yeah, I think it was just a matter of time. And once that whole situation got resolved, and Tony Khan's been saying it because there's only so much he can say, but like, we love Andrade, hope to work with him again. And so now it just feels like a matter of time. We had him. It was quite the surprise there at the end of the HOG show on Friday. So he's going after that championship. He's showing up at the Tokyo Dome. He's going to be at Wrestle Kingdom. He's going to be there was a 10-man tag team match that they announced, and he, I believe, is being positioned as like the financial backer of the United Empire, because there were two mystery spots open in the match. He'll fill one of them. I don't know who the other person's going to be. So That'll be his first time in a New Japan ring since 2015. And then, like you said, AEW, I would expect probably imminently would be my guess, is when we see him back there. So
he could show up on Saturday. We don't know.
He could. He very well could. Kenny doesn't have a match on that show, does he?
Let me see. What am
I don't think
as
so.
of right now, no.
No. Well, I mean, if not Saturday, probably shortly thereafter would be my guess.
Yeah, I know he'll be back with New Japan. I think he'll be under the La Sombra moniker, isn't he?
That was the name that he used previously.
Yeah, so there you go. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he's back, and we can finally put this nonsense behind us, and Andrade will be back on TV. Good for him. I'm glad that got all situated.
Yeah, and he'll be back with us on February 20th here in New York. So.
There you go. Him going after that HOG World Championship. Him and Mason should be a banger, huh? Should be a good match. Andrade with AEW. Let's shift gears into AEW discussion. We had Dynamite on Wednesday, and we had a major return, which they did not leak out, which I'm surprised by. I guess we kind of figured he'd be back eventually, but they did a pretty good job of keeping it a secret. But when the lights went out, I think we all kind of realized who was coming out. In Manchester, we saw the return of MJF. And he came back and cashed in his title contract that he won at All In the Casino Gauntlet, making the scheduled triple threat match between Swerve, Hangman, and Samoa Joe now a fatal four-way. Tony Schiavone hosted the initial signing featuring Joe Page and Strickland, and then he was accompanied by Hook and Powerhouse Hobbs. Swerve, accompanied by Prince Nana, addressed the champion, recalling their history in TNA and his previous victory over Joe. Strickland declared his intention to regain the title, signing the document, stating, "You can't kill a god with bullets." Adam Page then focused his verbal remarks on Joe and the alliance of Hobbs and Hook with the Ops. Page criticized the champion for aligning with the faction after failing at Wrestle Dream, claiming Joe lost all his dignity. Page asserted that while the outcome of World's End was uncertain, he was confident Joe would not leave as champion. So following Page signing the contract, the lights went out, and then we saw MJF. And he came out, Jason, and verbally eviscerated all of his competition here, explaining his recent absence was due to filming a movie. He stated that despite his history of taking shortcuts, he wanted to defeat Page and his biggest rivals simultaneously to eliminate any excuses. And he looked at Joe saying that 2 years ago, you took away my Triple B and I'm coming back for it, making a case that what happened 2 years ago on Long Island is going to happen to Joe this time around. During his address, MJF directed specific comments towards all three guys. He mocked Samoa Joe and his hairline and vowed to end his title reign. And then to Swerve, he compared Strickland to Sean Diddy Combs and mocked Who's House. He also referenced their history on the independent circuit and Swerve's tenure in WWE specifically, mentioning Top Dollar. MJF contrasted their previous title runs, noting that his reign lasted 406 days compared to Strickland's 126 days. Man, this was pretty. I mean, I don't even have the right word for it. I mean, it was MJF and all MJF on Wednesday. What did you make of him just kind of standing above and beyond everybody else in the ring? Was that necessary for him to be included in this match, or could they have kind of made it a little bit even across the board here?
No, I mean, it wasn't necessary. It's not necessary, but I'm glad to have him back.
Yeah.
Because look, I mean, his presence, it's been felt, him not being there. And so him being back on the show is only going to enhance the show. So I thought the promo, it was, typical MJF. He goes one by one, around the horn, and he's just blazing into his opponents. So I thought it was a good promo. And I think that, there are a lot of people who would look at this and go, why the hell would he cash in his contract for a four-way match? But I was happy they at least had him explain why he did that, yes. Right? Because it gets under his skin that Hangman called him a coward, and everyone thinks he takes shortcuts and he cheats and he can't win on his own. So he's gotten to, and this is his way of proving to them, you know what? Fuck you all. I can do this on my own. I'm going to cash in. It's going to go from a triple threat to a fatal four-way, and I'm going to win the championship. And you still may think it's ridiculous. Why would he cash in a four-way scenario? But they at least took the time to explain it. If he didn't say anything about it, I would have agreed. But at least they tried to offer some kind of an explanation. And it makes sense for him to be in the match if he's going to win the match. So for him to cash in the contract and fail, that to me doesn't make any sense.
Well, he also did say after beating Briscoe at All Out, there was a post-match that they kind of spliced into Dynamite the following week. and MJF bloodied and sitting on a staircase, saying that he's going to come back, reassess the situation, and come back more dangerous than he's ever been. So it goes in line with what he said. I actually do agree with you. I said that on Wednesday myself when I covered the show. I like that they brought him back and no bullshit, no frills. I'm going to win, and I'm going to show everybody that I can win and just, go about it that way. I thought that was a great way to reintroduce him. I'm sure we'll get MJF doing the typical hijinks along the way, as we further his story here going into the new year. But this initial title win, I think, needs to be a definitive one.
Yeah, I mean, typically we would see him utilize, like the diamond ring and all that. And so I was expecting him to show up, maybe to be involved in that in some way. And I'm glad that they didn't do that because this is much bigger than that. Although I have a theory.
Okay.
I have a theory that he's going to end up with the diamond ring anyway. Now, he wasn't in that battle royal this past week. I'm just going to kind of loop this in here. But they had that battle royal for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. He's had the ring for like 6 years in a row. So he wasn't in the battle royal. It comes down to the last two, which are Bandito and Ricochet. And the fans were not happy because I guess they just weren't paying attention and they thought that they were going to either finish the battle royal or have their match that night in Manchester. But they're like, okay, the two men wrestling next week. And then
it was kind of a buzzkill.
It was a buzzkill. But it's like what they did that years ago on Raw. Remember with the Razor Ramon and Rick Martel?
Yes.
Same thing. They had a battle royal, came down to the two of them, and then the following week, and maybe they taped it that same night in the same building, I don't know. But the following week, they did a match, and that's how Razor won the IC title for the first time. So that's what I always think of. But now they're going to have a match tomorrow night. So these shows were already taped, and I didn't really look, but I know they taped them at Hammerstein because they did the whole weekend. Because there's a show, they did a show Saturday night, and they did one on Sunday night. So the match is going to be Ricochet and Bandito for the ring. And you look at this and you go, Ricochet just makes all the sense in the world as far as the ring gimmick is concerned. But I believe that MJF is going to win the championship on Saturday, and I think he should. If MJF wins the championship, what we know is that the winner of the ring is getting a championship match on Dynamite on January 14th.
Yes.
So I look at this and I go, you know what? I think he ends up getting the ring back because let's just say in that situation that Bandito was to win the ring, I could see them turning it or him making it title versus ring. And when he beats Bandito, he gets the ring back.
I could see that.
So that's kind of how he sneaks his way back into getting the ring for I guess 7th year or whatever it would be. So I would not count out the possibility that we're not done yet with MJF and the Diamond Ring, but that's only if Bandito were to win. Because if Ricochet wins, I just don't see them doing MJF and Ricochet.
No, they had a brief moment together on television where I think MJF kind of enlisted the Demand's help to go against Mark Briscoe when he was shooting with Paige. He was about to burn Briscoe on television. Yeah, that was the only interaction they've ever had. So outside that, there's nothing. Yeah,
but that doesn't equate to like that being a championship match that people would want to see.
No.
So.
Yeah, I could see Bandito winning. I know the results anyway, so I'm not going to spoil him here. So I could see. I'm just
saying, adding that stipulation because right now it's just a world title match.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to get the ring back on MJF, I'm sure he could cut a promo and say, "Hey, I'm putting my belt on the line. You put that ring on the line, and then fucking guy gets the ring back."
Well, both would be killer matches for sure. But MJF, he's worked with Mystico this year. He's worked in CMLL this year. So him and Bandito is going to be a fucking killer match.
Sure,
if it happens. So.
No, I mean if that's the match, and again MJF wins the title, it'd be a hell of a match.
Yeah.
And Bandito, the thing is, like if Bandito wins the ring, like he doesn't need the ring. Like
no.
For him to carry the ring around for a full year, like what would be the point of that? We know he's not going to use it as a gimmick. He's not going to beat people with it. He's not a heel. It's a heel gimmick. So it would actually make more sense for him to win it only if he's going to then drop it to somebody else a few weeks later.
Yeah, so I could see that definitely being the case there. We have World's End on Saturday, and I'll leave it up to Jason. I mean, I have right now, with the results that we have coming out of tomorrow's show, I have the whole card in front of me. What do you want to do? Do you want to go over just the card that's announced now minus tomorrow's show, or you want to go over the whole thing? Because I'm genuinely curious to see what your opinion is, because this looks fucking ridiculous. Because what we talked about with the Continental Classic?
Yeah, Well, because I have not looked at the spoilers, but to me, well, I mean, whatever. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't matter. So
You're going to lose sleep if you don't know the results tomorrow for Dynamite?
for the purposes of the Continental Classic, I kind of feel like we kind of have to, get into some of the spoilers here.
Yeah.
Well, I would just say this before we and we'll get into the whole thing, but before we get into that, Kevin Knight, he got a win over Okada the other night.
Yes.
Which I think for him, I would hope, is a good sign because that means he's had wins in this tournament now over Darby Allin and Okada. And obviously earlier this year he wrestled Will Ospreay on one of the pay-per-views. They opened the show. So that tells me that they look at him and they have, I would hope, going into next year, they have plans to really try to elevate him. So, and they should, because he's super talented and and he could talk and all that. So I hope that he ends up as more of a Kyle Fletcher than an Action Andretti.
Yeah.
You could go one way or you could go the other. And Fletcher, this was a breakout year for him. So I would like to see Kevin Knight get that same kind of treatment, next year. If they're giving him all these big wins, make it mean something. You have him beating fucking Okada. You know what? Yeah, that should probably lead to something coming out of this tournament. And the other thing also is we talk so much about how, oh man, these tournaments or whatever, just in general, like this is predictable. This is so predictable. And it's like, you know what? The one thing I will say about this tournament this year is there was definitely some unpredictability in some of the results of these matches. Yeah. And I don't look at that as a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. I mean, I wish there was a little bit more focus on story, but I mean, beggars can't be choosers here. I'm going to look for the standings first. Let me see if I can find the points and the standings before we get into the actual discussion for the paper. All right, here we go. Gold League. We'll go over this first. Tony booked this like he was certainly running an eFed or a video game simulation. Look at this scorecard. Okada, Mike Bailey, Kyle Fletcher, Kevin Knight, and Pac, as of right now, before we get to tomorrow's Dynamite, all have 6 points. And then Jungle Jack Perry has 3 points. The Blue League, you're looking at Claudio and Konosuke Takeshita with 7 points. John Moxley with 6 points. We got Orange Cassidy with 6 points. Mascara Dorada, 3 points. And Roddy, who was mathematically eliminated, has 0 points. So that Gold League, Jason, I mean, there's 6 points. 5 of the 6 guys have a first place
it's a
tie.
5-way tie.
Yeah.
It's a 5-way tie. Yes.
So what we're looking at here, I'm going to go over the pay-per-view card here. Because it just kind of goes in with the discussion. I'm genuinely curious to see what you think, because we both talked about this story with Okada and Takeshita, and it's fun. I wish they put a little bit more oomph into it. I'm not saying it's bad. I just wish that they would kind of take it week to week and give me some layers. I feel like they're not giving us layers because we all expect it to go where it's going. But the match is going to be killer. Can't wait to see it. And what we got right now, Jason, is at the pay-per-view, a semifinal match of Okada and Takeshita. It's not even the final. It's a semifinal match. The other Continental Classic semifinal is taking place between Kyle Fletcher and John Moxley. So it's either going to be Takeshita beating Okada in the semifinals to go on and wrestle Kyle Fletcher because they're both part of the Don Callis family, or John Moxley is going to end up winning the whole fucking tournament, and the Death Riders reign supreme once again going into the new year.
Wow. So they're doing it in the semis. Okay.
Yeah.
So that it's funny. I talked about that as a possibility on my show on Sunday. That tells me that Okada is winning this tournament.
Again?
Yeah. Because here's the thing. Like, if you're doing it in the semifinals, I don't think you have Takeshita win. I think that what that tells me...
How much is the New Japan stuff holding this up?
Well, the way it would be holding it up is if maybe they didn't want to go balls out with an Okada-Takeshita final, because remember, the two of them are in the co-main events of the Tokyo Dome the week after this.
Yes.
So that could factor into things here where it's like, all right, we don't want these guys to have their big first match in the finals where they just go balls out and God forbid somebody gets hurt. I mean, Okada's literally in the main event against Tanahashi in Tanahashi's last match. It could factor into it. But I look at that, you telling me that it's in the semifinals tells me that, okay, that's the first match. And so Takeshita loses the first match, and they build to the bigger match where he ultimately wins the championship, and they do that at Revolution. That's what that's what I'm thinking, listening to you say that. I think that's where we're headed. This is just the first match, the first phase of a story that's not ending at World's End. Because think about it. If Takeshita wins at World's End, he beats Okada in the finals, wins the championship, it's over. I mean, you could do a rematch, but he's won. He's beaten him. He's won the championship. All right, that should be the end game here, like with Cody and Roman last year. So that tells me that this is not the end, but then Okada would have to beat him to give Takeshita something to chase after coming out of this. Because I also feel like Takeshita should be losing his championship at the Tokyo Dome. So I could see them, if let's say he loses at the Dome and Okada wins and retires Tanahashi by beating him, coming out of that on AEW television, they could have Okada gloating about, it's all coming up aces for him. I won, you lost, and like rubbing salt in the wound and just sort of furthering the issues between them, and just build up to, the big rematch at Revolution and have Takeshita go over at Revolution. I mean, Revolution is typically one of their biggest shows of the year, and do like the really big match on that show.
You don't have a problem with Takeshita holding the New Japan World Championship and losing to Okada here, just simply because it's Okada?
I don't have an issue with it. Maybe New Japan would. So you're saying because he has that title, he can't lose? He's just going to win the whole thing no matter what?
I mean, listen, I'm looking at this and I'm listening to you speak. It's like I appreciate Tony actually taking what a lot of people have predicted, it's us too especially, and kind of making it an unpredictable semifinal and final here. I mean, I could honestly see any four of these guys winning it. I could see Fletcher winning it after last year's great tournament. I could see John Moxley winning it. And I could see both Takeshita and Okada winning it.
I could see anybody winning it except Moxley. I don't think Moxley is winning this. I tell you what, listening to what you just said, if I had to make a prediction, I would say that Okada beats Takeshita, and then in the other match, Moxley beats Fletcher. And we get Okada and Moxley.
Yeah.
Moxley loses in the finals, and with any hope, him losing in the finals will hopefully lead to something bad with the Death Riders. So at least it might further that story finally. And then Okada wins for the second year in a row, which is like, But again, if it leads to furthering this story with him and Takeshita, then fine. That's how I see it playing out now.
That's just for the simple fact of the matter that Okada winning the championship keeps those other two championships unified with the unified championship, so we don't have more championships on television.
Yeah, so instead of getting rid of that belt, he gets that the unified belt right back. Yeah, because so wait a minute. So Claudio, Claudio lost then, right? Because Claudio's still in the mix there. Claudio has the CMLL title. You talk about people walking around with world championships that belong to other promotions. I mean, you got to be careful with that too. So who did he wrestle?
I'm trying to find it here. Dynamite, because the actual website don't give the results because it hasn't aired yet. Spoilers. He never even came out with that championship, right? They want to have everybody else come out with their championship, but he never came out with that CMLL.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did. But I think he was wrestling Roddy, and I had predicted that they would go to a draw. So you're saying?
I think that may have been
Roderick
the case.
Strong beat him?
Let me see.
The man with 0 points beat the CMLL world champion? That can't be right.
Konosuke Takeshita defeated Orange Cassidy. Takeshita advanced. Massacre Dorado defeated Roderick Strong. Jack Perry defeated Pac. Bandito, Ricochet, Bucks, Shafir, Christmas Collision. There we go. Fletcher defeated Jack Perry. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Massacre Dorado. Roderick Strong beat Claudio. Yeah, he got his one win.
Over the CMLL world champion.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going with what you just said last. I think it's going to be Moxley and Okada. Poor Kyle Fletcher, though, because not only has he wrestled a great fucking tournament, which, I mean, you could look back at his body of work this year. I think one of the best matches he's had all year has been within this tournament against Mike Bailey. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. This is the second year in a row that he would come so close to winning the tournament and then fall in the end.
Yeah, but I just think at that point it just works. It works better with Moxley then, because
Yeah.
so long as there's some developments with
Yes.
the Death Riders coming out of him losing. If
Yes.
Fletcher loses, it's like, all right, because they're friends, they're buddies, they're part of the same group. It's like, who gives a shit? I mean, it would have been the same way with Takeshita, but at least they hate each other. But with Moxley, at least there's something good, hopefully, that could come out of him losing if he makes it all the way to the end and then falls short.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going with that. I like that. John Moxley, Okada, and then Okada wins the Continental Classic for what would that be, second year in a row now, him?
Second year in a row.
So those three matches, I mean, Tony's got those three matches,
And-
2 semifinals and a final taking place,
And it furthers this whole narrative of him being the greatest tournament wrestler of all time.
which they have regularly shoved down our throats. They want us to know that very badly. Darby Allin has been added to the card. He will be going one-on-one with Gabe Kidd. And the last time we saw Darby Allin on television was in this tournament. He got hurt. But he does have a run-in with Gabe Kidd, as I think he chloroformed Gabe Kidd on a episode of Dynamite in the fall. And then
And we
Darby...
never saw him.
Yeah,
we never saw him again.
never saw him again. And then he dragged Gabe Kidd away on the back of a fucking pickup truck. So they do have history, and it's their way of continuing the Death Rider story with him going after Gabe Kidd, being that Moxley's tied up in the tournament. I guess Darby easy win over Gabe Kidd here.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, but the Kingdom Kid in the chat makes a good point. I had forgotten about it. The very first match of this tournament had Fletcher beating Okada.
Yeah.
So would they want to run it back with the idea that he's already beaten him and maybe he'll do it again, but then Okada gets his win back?
No, I like the Moxley story better.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Even though the Fletcher match would be the better match, honestly, I would, and like Jason said, they'd have to actually commit to telling the story finally, which I don't really trust them to do. I would take the story over the match.
Yeah, no, I would too. I just think that would, again, provided they follow up,
yes,
that way, that would be the better way to go.
Darby Allin will be going one-on-one with a regular singles match. This is no gimmicks, no hardcore nonsense. It's one-on-one Darby and Gabe Kidd. FTR will be defending the AEW Tag Team Championships against the Bang Bang Gang. This is Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn. This will be a Chicago street fight for the Tag Team Championships. Going FTR. I don't see them losing the titles until Cope and Christian get back together.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Babes of Wrath will be defending the Women's Tag Team Championships. Harley Cameron and Willow will defend against Mercedes Moné and Athena. Wow. I don't know why that came to be, but they did beat them in the tournament. Does Mercedes and Athena get their win back here?
No.
Okay.
No. They just won the titles, dude.
Well,
two things. They just won the titles, and they have begun to, or she has begun to shed some of her championships.
yes.
So I would not be putting any new ones on her, as she has started losing the ones that she already has. She lost the Ring of Honor television title. She just, this past weekend, she just lost the Rev Pro British Women's Championship to Alex.
Who?
Alex Windsor.
Windsor. Okay.
Windsor, yes. Who previously held that championship for like 800 days. I guess she has it back now. So that has started. I would not be putting any new belts on her. You put these belts on Willow and Harley, so you have to commit to them for at least a little while. You can't just take the belts off of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be ridiculous.
Should be a good match. I'm surprised they actually booked this for the show, but that's taking place for the Tag Team Championship. Statlander and Jamie Hayter, singles match for the AEW Women's Championship. I'm going Stat.
Mm-hmm.
Possibility of Jamie Hayter going heel here? Or no?
I don't think Jamie has been built up enough yet.
No.
I mean, she should get there eventually, but this just felt kind of slapped together with not a whole lot of real story behind it as far as like an issue between the two of them.
Well, I thought they were going Tekla. No?
Tekla's still she's still kind of in the mix, but no, they had teamed up recently, and then they did a backstage segment, and Jamie basically, I think, asked for a title shot, and Statlander was like, all right, let's do it. So it's pretty thin on like story as far as what led to it. We got two baby faces here, two fan favorites. The timing just doesn't feel right to me.
Jamie Hayter going heel or no? Staying babyface?
I would keep her babyface.
All right. Well, listen, they're all in on stats. She beat Toni Storm for the title. She beat Mercedes clean, and now she's more than likely going to end up beating Jamie Hayter. I mean, that's a solid way to round out the year for Chris Statlander.
Oh, yeah.
And here we thought Mercedes was going to fucking beat Stat after she won the championship, and they've fully committed on Statlander. Good for them. She deserves it.
It's about time.
And then the main event. Right now, 9 matches. You know, they may add another 14. We don't really know. But it doesn't matter if it's 6 matches, 8 matches, 9 matches. Tony has a way to push these matches and this card to a threshold of 12:30 a.m. Sunday morning. So Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, Adam Page, and MJF for the World Championship Fatal 4-Way, which we just talked about before. It was a triple threat match. MJF cashed in, wanting to prove he could beat everybody fair and square. And he's going to be a new man moving forward into the new year. I think we talked about it. MJF should be the world champion. And I honestly think, Jason, just outside of, I feel the main event scene could use a huge shot in the arm. And I don't mean this in a negative way towards Samoa Joe and Paige and Swerve. I think Joe is great. I think Paige has largely been very good this year, and Swerve is great. But there's nothing like an MJF World Championship run. I think when you look at him, he's like the beacon of like that feeling that they talk about. And I genuinely feel people, when he's the champion, people want to see what he does next. I think he's got that factor about him that, you know, gives the product an unpredictability. Plus, they got a lot more baby faces than they do heels, and you got the best heel maybe in the business right here in MJF, and you got a lot of baby faces that could have a great program, and one right now that's on the shelf, who I hope we get back at some point next year. He's the right guy to really take that main event scene and give us some proper story and some great heel and babyface dynamic. I don't see how you put the title on anybody but MJF. You're muted. I think, Jay, did you mute yourself? Where is this? What happened? Let's see. Hold on. What? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't hear you. I don't hear you. Hold on. What happened? Can you hear me now? What happened to his voice? What happened to his voice? I don't know what happened. I didn't touch anything. What happened to his voice? Hold on. I didn't touch anything. It's not my fault. What happened? I hear. Do you hear that? I hear. There you go. I don't know what happened.
But you hear me now.
I hear you now. Yeah.
You did something. I don't know what you did.
I don't know. My computer just fucking malfunctioned. It put my output on something else and not my roadcast. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying? You heard everything I said about MJF, correct?
I heard everything. Yes. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't see the point in bringing MJF back and having him cash in the contract only for him to lose. So MJF should win, and I believe will win the championship, and how appropriate. It was the very event where he lost it 2 years ago.
Do you see any surprises at this show on Saturday? Like Andrade, do you see anything that Tony wants to shock us with before we go into the new year?
Yeah, probably. I don't know, outside of maybe Andrade, I'm not sure what or who that would be. I thought we were going to see Jay White back in that Casino Gauntlet at Full Gear. Yeah. But I guess he's still hurt. So yeah, I mean, I would expect there to be some kind of surprise at some point during the show. Maybe not even necessarily after the main event. But what that is, I don't know.
Well, Saturday night, I'll be live. Jason, to be determined. I know that it's a long night and he's got the sound off on Sunday, but I'll be live with Jesse on Saturday night. We'll do our thing here on YouTube following World's End, and that may be the last one of the last streams of the year. We got Monday Night Raw, and then we got next week's TNT, which I'll talk about in a second. I want to get into this, and then we'll get into your super chats, as this show has come in at under 2.5 hours, believe it or not. Look at that. Slow week it was.
Nice and economical, though.
Yes, and Jason got some much needed rest with his sore throat there. Bruce Pritchard, my good old buddy Bruce. He says, after a while, you start to listen to Jim Johnston's work, and everything sounds like Bam Bam Bigelow's entrance music. So he says,
You
Yeah,
know my
okay.
favorite joke? My favorite joke?
What?
Bobby Heenan at Survivor Series in 93. And he had the Hart brothers against Shawn Michaels and the Knights.
Bro, this, all the best quotes are in that match, bro. I know.
And Bruce Hart tags into the match and he goes, because like the parents, like Stu and Helen are at ringside. And he just goes, "You got 9 months and Bruce is the best thing you could come up with." I just fucking died. First time I heard that, I just fucking died. But it's like joke after joke after joke in that match.
My favorite one, that was a good one. My favorite one was there was a camera shot of Stu standing at ringside. He had that leather jacket on, that bomber jacket on with the fucking bare face in the back. And Bobby Heenan was like, "Oh, look, he's got Helen on the back of his jacket." Oh, my God, man. So many good ones there. But Bruce, he talks about Jim Johnston's work. He says this on the Something to Wrestle With podcast. He says, Jim had a huge contribution to the business in general. He wrote the soundtrack for a lot of people's youths. The issue becomes with only having one person to do that after a while, it all starts to sound the same. It's not a knock on that person. When you look at the body of work that Jim Johnston had, it's incredible. Jim had a sound, and if you go back after a while, you start to listen to Jim's work, everything sounds like Bam Bam Bigelow's entrance. That's why we also used Jimmy Hart. That's why we also used Rick Derringer. That's why we used other people. I thought his work was great, but when you have so much of it, it can start to sound the same. Instead of getting more help, you want to keep more control. Let it go, man. Take the help. Now, I don't know, maybe you know where I don't know. Did Bruce have a problem with Jim Johnston? Was there someone in the company that like kind of pushed him out?
Evidently, he did have some issues with Jim Johnston. Yeah, the Jim Johnston thing. I don't think he ever named names, but there were definitely forces within the company who were looking to get rid of him. And the way that he ended up leaving, it was a very messy thing. It wasn't like it was an amicable, thing. It wasn't like they really celebrated, oh, he's retiring or anything like that. He basically got pushed out, in favor of, I guess it was CFOs first and then Def Rebel. It's entirely possible. Look, even a lot of what Bruce said, I'm not even saying that it's necessarily wrong. If it was a case where he didn't want any outside help, let me do what I do. I don't need anybody else. And if they felt there was a sameness to some of the songs, I mean, again, that's not computing with me, but okay, fine. I mean, it's not like he came out and shat on the guy. But you see the music situation like these days in WWE. You know what I mean? And we talked about the importance of music. We're both big fans of music. Obviously, you're a big fan of music. And we see how dire the music situation is for a lot of different wrestlers in this company. And his influence was a very big part of the success of that company for so many years. People can downplay it if they want to, or even people in the company, if they didn't like him personally, if they thought he was quirky or, I don't know, difficult to work with. Absolutely, there were people that obviously had issues with him. But my God, like, is the soundtrack for the Golden Era, the soundtrack for the Attitude Era, all of these eras, like, there were other people as well. Because in that same clip, Bruce talks about how that's why we had Jimmy Hart helping out. There are a lot of classic songs from those old days that Jimmy was responsible for. I think it was Jimmy Hart and J.J. Maguire. So it wasn't all Jim Johnston. So I get the point he's making about how it's okay to have some help sometimes, but it wasn't as if he was speaking enthusiastically about Jim Johnston. And I still feel like he gets the short end of the stick when he absolutely deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame. That was the original question. Does he deserve an induction into the WWE Hall of Fame?
Bro, the guy should be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
The answer is yes. Like, there's no hesitation needed on that question. The answer is yes. And I don't think he gets enough credit from certain people who might downplay his talents or downplay his achievements. But my God, dude, like, you go down the list of the songs that he was responsible for, some of the most iconic theme songs in the history of that company that you still hear today. When people make cameos and they play their music, a lot of that, his influence is still felt. And the way that he ended up being basically cast aside, it's sad. I don't think he ever had a contract with the company. He's talked about how he worked on a handshake deal with Vince McMahon for all those years. But whatever the reasons were, whether it was Just he got on certain people's bad side, or he wasn't willing to play nice with others. I don't know if it was they were paying him a lot of money and maybe they didn't want to pay as much. I don't know. But clearly there were forces that, pushed him out. And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
I don't see people telling Bruce how to do his job. He doesn't like when people tell him to do his job or how to do his job, right? So Bruce Pritchard, I'm sure he's a fan of music too. I'm sure he's got his favorite musical artists and musical tastes. Sometimes you don't step into the cage with a musician and tell them how to write music. Like he's his own being. Like you don't do that. I look at musicians as scientists. You can't go in there and tell someone to fucking do this, do that, do this the way you want. There's a certain genius to be a musician. My brother's a musician. I don't go into the studio when he invites me to listen to him record and write music, and I don't tell him, you should do this, you should do that. This composition should go here. This guitar riff should go there. Who is he to tell a musician how to write music and what the music should sound like? Let him take care of that and let him visualize what it needs to sound like and what it needs to be. Like, who the fuck does Bruce think he is? Like, I don't understand that. Just let him be. Like, I mean, who's your favorite musician? Like, I know a lot of people love Kurt Cobain, right? You're going to tell Kurt Cobain to go and write fucking the way you want Kurt Cobain to write? Or Metallica or Dave Mustaine. Like, I don't understand that logic. Bruce comes off like so fucking like high and mighty in that. It's almost off-putting. He's off-putting in general. He's an idiot. I don't know. Jim Johnston.
Look, it all started out of a question of whether or not he belongs in the Hall of Fame. The answer is yes. Jim Johnston belongs in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's ever going to get any sort of proper induction. He might get a legacy induction one year. But I hope at some point he gets the recognition. Like, we know, his accomplishments and how important he was to those past eras. But I think there's going to be a whole generation of fans now of WWE that have no idea. Like, they'll hear the name and not even know who that is. But they'll probably be listening to music that they don't even know he's responsible for.
Yes.
The glass shatter when Stone Cold comes out or whatever it might be. So it's sad.
Jim Johnston's music will be eternal. Def Rebels will not. That's all I know. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for all of your support. Figured we end with that one. We're going to get into your super chats now. A nice abbreviated 2 hours and 12 minutes we're at. And hopefully we'll get you out of here in under 2:45. Thank you guys for all your support here on TNT, episode 126. I know it's a little shitty that the news week and the year-end stuff is coming to a close, and it's very slow right now, but we're doing the best we can, and we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Next week, we're going to do something fun for you guys, and we're going to have a nice little debate next week. I and Jason have decided that we're going to do the TNT Best of the Best of the Best of 2025 Year-End Awards, final episode of the year, Tuesday Night Titans. So next week, we'll talk about our favorite moments, our favorite matches, our favorite performers, and we'll both go back and forth on who we think should win these awards next week. So that should be fun. So look forward to that. You guys have asked me, am I going to do something? Because last year I did something with Jesse and had a bunch of people like Dave LaGreca and Santi Zapp and Conman and Don Tony read off the poll results that you guys voted for. But I figured let's keep it to just what I think, what Jason thinks, and keep it to the stream. So I think that's the best way to go about it. We'll have fun with that next week. Follow us on social media at JD from NY206. That's Solid Monster. Everything you need for Jason's link down below in the description. We have 652 likes. I knew we weren't going to hit the goal of 1,000 tonight, but if you guys want to do that and get us as close as possible to that 1,000 likes, please do so. Super chats are open. Best way to support the show. And let's get into them. We're going to start at the top here. Again, I want to thank the big one, Catch 22, for a $200 bomb earlier in the night. Thank you, brother. Michael Krause with it, too. Happy holidays, JD, Jason, OTS. Let's go. Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Nate with a $10 super chat. Happy holidays, guys. I'm wishing for Sydney Sweeney under my tree. Yet that never happens. Haha. Anyway, thanks for a great stream and streams this year. And happy to see Javon getting free agency, taking offers from Nick and Adam. Bro, if Sydney Sweeney is under your tree, you'll have the greatest Christmas gift of all time. Just saying.
Hey, I'll take. You see, Trish was celebrating, I think, her 50th birthday, and still looks amazing.
I know, it's crazy. Base Bears with it too. No Santa Foley this year for WWE. Good old Saint Mick. No. And we talked about that briefly last week. Good for him. Standing on his laurels and beliefs. Good for him.
Remember when Alberto Del Rio ran him down years ago on the Christmas show?
Yes, I do. I found that to be quite comical, actually. Baltimore Jackson, the 499. In my opinion, the dilemma with Theory is all on creative. His booking, teaming with Waller was the death trap. If WWE could get Roman over, they can do the same thing for Theory. Merry Christmas. Are we really talking about Roman and Theory in the same sentence?
Yeah, let's not compare the two.
No. Havili. Look at this guy. We haven't heard from Havili in a while. 11 months. Shout out from Brisbane, Australia. Merry Christmas Eve. Your thoughts on Bruce Pritchard saying that the original plan for Hogan at WrestleMania 9 was to face Dusty? I don't know. Looking back at it, that might have actually been a better plan than what they had.
So yeah, I don't know that that's what he said, because the story, unless he's just lying now, but the story he's told a few different times over the years, going back to the very beginning of when he did his podcast, was that they came up with an idea to bring in Dustin because I guess they were watching, WCW back then, and he was this young kid young big kid, and the idea was they would bring him in to work Hogan, which again I find that very hard to believe. And Hogan shot the idea down, is what Bruce claimed. So I've never heard the idea that they were talking about bringing Dusty in. It was Dustin. But can you imagine Hulk Hogan and Dustin Rhodes at WrestleMania 9?
I cannot.
I don't see that.
I cannot see that.
If I were Hogan, I would have said no to that too.
That
don't work for me, brother.
No. Yeah, really.
That don't work for me.
Michelle with a 2. What will it take to finally end the Death Riders? Tony Khan stepping in and telling John Moxley, "Hey, John, I think it's time we end it." That's what it's going to take. Also, on the 5, if Drew wins the title from Cody in the, I guess, she just spoiled it. If Drew wins the title from Cody in the blank match, what do you see each man doing up to and including WrestleMania? Happy holidays to the OTS family. Thank you, Michelle. Listen, we talked about the Dynamite spoilers. It's only fair we spoil something from WWE. They announced a 3 stages of hell match between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. We'll talk about it more next week because the announcement's going to be made on Friday. I don't know when this match is taking place.
Well, yeah, no. So I believe it's taking place on January 9th.
That would be overseas.
Which would be in Germany.
Yes. All right. So WWE's doing it January 9th, 3 stages of hell. My theory is that Drew is not going to win the championship, but they need to get a visual pin of Drew over Cody, and that's the only way to do it in a 3 stages of hell match. Really?
I'm gonna say Drew wins the title because
really okay.
I mean, there's no reason to do this match unless he's winning the title. He's already been beaten 2 or 3 times. Why run this back again just to beat the man? I mean, I know that's basically what they did with Cody and Kevin Owens, and Owens never won the belt, but you gotta throw the guy a bone. And I think it's more likely Drew wins the belt than Braun Breaker beats CM Punk for it.
I agree with you there. I wonder how a 3 stages of hell match is going to work with commercials.
Well, you'll have one stage and then a commercial and then another stage and then another commercial.
You make it sound really nice. I think it's going to be match starts, commercial within the match, and then three or four other commercials stretched out across the fucking match itself. I hope not. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited to see that happen. I don't remember the last time we saw one of them.
It's going to be a 3-hour show. They can give it an entire hour.
They could. It's going to be good. Baltimore Jackson, 499. People criticize Vince. Now they criticize Trips and want Vince back. When Trips is gone, it'll be the same. It's recycled bullshit. A complete overhaul will have to happen.
No, they don't want Vince back. The only people who want Vince back are idiots. So don't make it sound like the majority of people are asking for Vince to come back. A very small niche group of morons want Vince McMahon to come back to WWE creative.
I can't see that happening ever.
We are not two of those people.
No. Aviles with a 37 months. Hopefully we don't see Solomonster take a solo driver one day. Take it easy out there. TNT, the best weekly wrestling discussion. Well, thank you, Aviles.
Thank you, brother.
Bad Trips with a $5 super chat. Gunther being a cartoon villain heel isn't doing it for me. I can't take him serious after tapping out to Jey Uso. Imagine Brock tapping out to The Miz. It's 2 weeks, bro. Let's give it some time. If what we got on the last two shows of Monday, with him kind of, I guess, teasing something with AJ, let's see that play out. I think that's the right direction there. Got to keep adding heat. Got to keep throwing logs on that fire, man. So I think that's the right way to go about it.
It's a little early, though, don't you think, to be teasing that for if it was going to be a WrestleMania match?
Yes.
Well,
I mean,
a little early.
I think Triple H kind of likes to have a visual of you seeing things, like wondering if it's going to happen, and then maybe play it out when he feels like it's ready. But he wants you to know now what he's thinking.
Yeah, but it's 2 weeks in a row. It's not like it was like if it was just last week, that would be one thing. But this is the second week in a row now they've done this.
Well, maybe they have something in the Rumble, and maybe AJ eliminates Gunther from the Rumble.
I almost feel like, and again, we still don't know if AJ is wrestling the full year or if he's going to retire at WrestleMania. You could do multiple matches. You know, Gunther has to win all of them, though, if that's the case. But maybe they do an initial match and Gunther wins, and then AJ puts his career on the line. I would almost prefer it that way, honestly, instead of it just being like telling us in advance I'm going to retire. Because then it's not like Gunther's really retiring him. He's already made the decision to retire himself. Turn it into a story where it's like, I'm willing to put my career on the line, a career match.
I could see that.
And if I don't win, then I'm not good enough, then I'll walk away.
I could see that. That's actually better than just having a one and done and like, this is my last match. Goodbye.
Yes.
Baltimore Jackson with a 199. True or false? Roxanne Perez will be a champion in 2026. True.
Yes.
Absolutely true. Hollywood guy with a $5 super chat. Trade Lola Vice for Julia. Put Julia in NXT and Lola on SmackDown or Raw. If not Lola, then JC Jane. Why not?
Lola's basically on excursion now. She's in AAA.
Yeah.
She was on the AAA show again on Saturday. So I don't even know how often is she on NXT as compared to AAA? Is she on NXT every week?
No. Hollywood guy also subs with a 5. Where do you guys see Zoe Stark coming back? Maybe Royal Rumble. She's nearly due for a comeback.
How many months ago was that? That was a pretty brutal injury.
That was what, May?
Was it May?
It happened after WrestleMania, no?
All right. Well, if it was around that time, we're coming up on 7 months. I guess that would track. I guess if it's been at least 6 months. Then Rumble time is the end of January, then that might work.
Baltimore Jackson with a 199. How about put the tag titles on Bronson and Austin Theory?
No.
What, so we get them in the Usos again?
Yeah, it's lame.
Your StreamYard thing showed up.
Great.
We're almost out of here, so.
Well, it always shows up for you, but it doesn't show up for me.
No.
So I'm constantly now like switching to check, but we might actually finish up here before it pops up on my end.
No, I don't want to see that. So we get them in the Usos again? No, I don't care about that. Baltimore Jackson with a 199. What do you dislike most about the Cena-Orton feud?
That they have no chemistry. Everyone talks about it like it's some classic rivalry, but they never really had any in-ring chemistry. And I don't want to say they never had any great matches. They had some good matches, but I don't know, for all of the comments that it will get about it being this all-timer classic kind of feud, it's like, just because two people have a lot of matches together doesn't make it a classic feud.
Yeah.
And I was just never a big fan of it. There was something missing that Cena and Edge had, or Cena and Punk had, or Cena and AJ had, that Cena and Orton did not have.
Yeah, the more you tell me that something is the greatest of all time, I'm going to think it's not the greatest of all time. I hate when someone tells me something, this is what you're supposed to believe. No.
You're calling John Cena the greatest of all time for 5 years now.
He's not the greatest of all time. No, he's not the greatest of all time.
No, he's not.
Baltimore Jackson, thank you, brother. Bad Trips with a 5. Theory is working for Vince, and he pulls out a black egg. And Vince returns at the Royal Rumble with Nicki Minaj and a new faction called the Deviled Eggs.
A black egg.
No. No. Sidro with a 5. A woman breaks up with a man with a small penis. His friends were amazed he didn't seem hurt by the breakup. It's okay, he said. I wasn't that into her, he says. Yes, Sidro, thank you for telling us where your mind is wandering this evening. Actually, you know what? I have something for that. I just have something for that. This will pop, Jason, if I could find it. Where is it? I have it here.
You're going to have to explain it to me because I'm not going to be able to see it because I'm on a delay. So just remember that.
I can't find it. Where is it? I just put it on my fucking thing.
JD has misplaced his blue chew, everybody. It's okay, JD.
Where is it? I can't find it. What did I do with it? It's here
It's
somewhere.
It's so small he can't find it. Look at this. It was awful.
It is awful. I don't know what I do with it. I don't have it on here. Oh, well. Oh, here it is. That's for you, Sidra. That's every time you give me a bad joke. I got another one, too, for that. So thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Alex with the $10 super chat. Brother JD and Solo, wishing you and your family an amazing Christmas and New Year's. What do you think is more likely in 2026? Jerry Lawler having one more match, or the long-awaited Cody Orton feud? Is Jerry Lawler is he really talking about having one more match?
He's leaving open the possibility of it. Yes.
What has happened to him recently? Heart attack, stroke.
3 strokes.
He lost his vision, right? Or blind? He went blind temporarily.
He's colorblind, which affects because he used to be an artist, so now he can't distinguish between colors.
Okay. Yeah, nobody's asking for that at all. Sidro, $2 super chat. Let me see if I get my sound, my other sound here ready. Why did Cheddar Cheese go to the gym to get shredded? Oh man, Sidro, no, that don't work, bro. I'm sorry. Thank you for stopping by, Sidro, man. I have to play those sounds for you every time you give me one of those. Luis Lopez with a 5. Cena mentioned the smile in the interview, but not the tap. That tap felt like a Triple H made moment, not Cena's call. That's a very good way to look at it. What do you think about that, Jason?
Look, it was a Triple H call one way or the other because he had to approve the whole damn thing, so he deserves as much blame for it as anybody.
Jake with a Canadian $10 super chat. Merry Christmas to JD and Solid Monster. Merry Christmas to you, brother.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
Emoji Matt with a 2. Merry Christmas. Baltimore Jackson with a $4.99. What's the deal with guys hating on Jesse? That's my dog. I interact with him on Monday stream. He's good people. It's really unnecessary. I don't know. They're upset because he doesn't want to work the schedule of a content creator and rather spend time with his family during the holidays, man. Those people have serious issues. Don't mind them. Emoji Man with a $5 super chat. Have you ever heard or seen Batman Forever? It's the best Batman movie. Yes, I have, and no, it's not.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah. No, it is not.
Leopoldo with a 2. JD bringing out the world's largest cello. NXT week. No. Cake with a 2. I need an interview between Tony Khan and John Cena. Do you?
Would we have any questions answered in that interview?
Bossbo Jackson with a $4.99. Which suggested Hollywood movie would you be most interested in? Plastic Men, Killer Instinct, Defenders of the Earth, Jason versus Michael, or Gremlins 3?
Wait, did you say Plastic Man?
Plastic Man, yes.
What is Plastic Man?
I have no idea.
Is that a real superhero?
What does he go around doing? Picking up plastic bottles?
That sounds like it would be a villain, right? Plastic Man. That would be a villain. Just based on this list, I have to go Jason versus Michael.
Yes, I probably go that or Gremlins 3.
There is a new Gremlins coming out.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah, it's either being rebooted or it's a sequel. Hold on. Let me just look this up real quick. I just read about that recently. And
Chris in the chat says that's a DC hero, Plastic Man.
No, I didn't know that.
He's really a hero. I didn't know that.
This was from last month. Gremlins franchise gets new life in 2027. Oh, I gotta hold on a second. I got a fucking ad here. 2027 sequel over 40 years after the classic original. And the screenwriter Chris Columbus is returning to direct the franchise's third movie, which will hit theaters in November 2027.
Wow, that's just as long as the next installment of Batman coming out.
Yes.
With the Twilight guy.
Or probably when GTA 6 will be out.
Well, that's coming out next year.
No, it's not.
When's it coming out?
You think it's coming out next year? Don't be naive.
I thought they pushed it back to, what, March of 26? Of
course they pushed it back. My point is it's going to get delayed again.
Oh, probably.
And again and again.
Probably.
This is the problem when you're a perfectionist and you want everything to be perfect.
Well,
nothing ever gets done.
Listen, after what we get with games regularly, I would rather than take the time and release a finished product. Cake with a 45 months. Thank you, brother. Rock was supposed to be at WrestleMania. He announced it himself, and then they announced the real WrestleMania when he left. Yes, we'll never know what happened. I believe he was going to be there, and then something happened. Whatever that something is, I don't know. Crazy Men, $5 super chat. Javon has 2 years to become the youngest world champion in company history. Triple H is about rewriting the record books, and I see Javon breaking Orton's record. I don't want to start booking him personally as the world champion. Let's get him kind of integrated into the world champion.
You talking about record title reigns?
The youngest world champion of all time, yeah.
Oh, youngest world champion of all time. How wasn't Randy 23?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
23 or 24?
Gotta look it up. Let's see. How old was Randy Orton when he won his first title? 24. Got 3 years on him.
Yeah, he's got 3 years. I mean, unless you count the NXT championship, I don't see that happening.
No. Listen, NXT champion, I could see Javon holding the NXT title.
Sure.
I think some work needs to be done there for him to be in discussion to be a world champion on the main roster. Intercontinental title, United States title, no problem.
Well, I'm just talking in the next 3 years. Like,
yeah.
I don't see that happening.
No. Robbie 618 with a 199. Did Solo buy a bag of air from Cena's retirement?
I would have, but they pulled the listing from eBay a little too quick, so I couldn't get my hands on it for $1,700.
Cena's hair, Sydney Sweeney's bathwater. What else is on eBay nowadays? I don't know.
Well, I said years ago they had Britney Spears chewed gum, and it sold for $14,000.
Oh my god, people are such fucking losers, man. Oh my god. Tony Brown with a 499. JD, Jason, happy holidays. Thank you, Tony Brown.
Happy holidays and happy New Year, Tony.
Furious Nation with a $10 super chat. What's up, JD and Solo? Thank you for everything you both do. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Those who want Vince back are legit mental. Triple H may have had a bad 2025, but it doesn't mean he's worse than Vince and that Vince should be back. I agree.
Yeah, but the point is, even if he was worse than Vince, we still don't want Vince back.
No.
That's the point.
Base Beers with a 2. Maven really came out of nowhere and killed it on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know what the secret sauce is over there. I mean, he's doing great over there. Almost 800,000 subs. I guess that's the type of content we should be making.
Well, no, I mean, what works for him is, as somebody who worked there and he's sharing these stories about here's what I made.
Yeah.
Or here are the biggest locker room, headaches or whatever. And then it's in the thumbnail and it's like, ooh, I got to see what he's going to talk about. It's smart. He was able to figure out the secret sauce is really how do you kind of reel people in. And so you got to come up with the right topics. So given that he was in that locker room for so many years, he's got some stories to tell. Maybe he knows where some of the bodies are buried. And then you just got to make sure you kind of put that in the thumbnail. And that's how you reel people in. So he figured that out.
Evil God Dark with a 199. Triple H did Pete and Tyler dirty, bro. He did. Hopefully, he realizes what's going on there and puts them back to their former characters, or their old characters. Shanamtra with the 15 months. Happy holidays, JD Solo, and the entire OTS and Sound Off family. Thank you, bro.
Thank
you. Duff's Viz with a $4.99. Why do sharks eat pineapples? Because they heard it made semen taste better. Merry Christmas. Thank you, thank you, Duffs. Theme parks and things with 37 months. Rest in peace to Adam the Woo. Apparently, he's a YouTuber that passed away. Great person. We are all hurting. He will be missed. I don't know what type of content he made. Do you know? Ever heard of this guy?
I want to say it was restaurant related. I believe. But he was young. I mean, he was only 51, I believe.
Yeah. That is definitely young.
Yeah.
Furious Nation with a $9.99. If there's one difference between Vince and Triple H, is that with Triple H, he gives the talent off on holidays like Xmas, where with Vince, he didn't care if you had kids. I remember Orton saying this a year ago. Yeah.
Oh, no. Adam was theme parks. You go to different theme parks. That's what it was.
Okay. Yeah, they TKO by eliminating house shows and having less live events. It definitely opened up the calendar for a lot of the talent to spend the holidays, like Christmas and Thanksgiving, with their families, which a lot of them appreciate. But yeah, Vince wanted everybody to work as hard as he worked. He never wanted to miss a day. So,
dude, it's like if you ever listen to Nick Khan speak. He talks the same way, where he'll make comments about how, don't you, get tired. You run so hard with your schedule. Again, you want like a day off. And he's like, it's the paraphrasing here, but basically like, it's almost like, what's that? Like, if you want a day off, you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Like you gotta be work. And people just need to realize and just understand, like with these companies, these big companies, like, yes, to them, of course, they want you to just work. Your work-life balance is not a concern to them. Like, they don't care about that.
Yeah.
When you're not working, they're not getting anything out of you. So you just got to make sure that you have the right work-life balance and not worry about, like, what people like that think.
Yeah, I personally have a problem with walking away from the content because I feel like I owe everybody the content, and I very much want to be here no matter what. Like, I can't go on vacation because I don't know how to go into vacation mode. I also don't know how to take a step back and do me. So I think we should start normalizing, like, creators like us and Jesse and everybody else that you guys may watch. Support them if they want to take a break during the holidays. Like, right now, we should honestly be taking a break. So there's nothing going on. Like last night we were both live and we both didn't want to be live. And Friday's the same thing. And, until WWE goes back live, there's nothing going on. Like, this is the time we should honestly be resting and coming back at 100% to give you guys the content during the peak season. But we've chosen to be here. And like I said, it's tough to walk away sometimes. Base Beers for the 2. WCW had a 6 and a 7. Could have been a team. Yeah, yes, they could have. Duff's Viz with a $4.99. Why do gas stations charge you to fill your tires up with air? Inflation. Furious Nation. Thoughts on Izzy Moreno? I think she's pretty talented and has a lot of potential. She'll be in the NXT system before long. I can't see WWE not giving her a look. If not already. Dizzle with a 5. Hi, guys, in my Jesse voice. Shout out to you guys and much blessings to Jesse and the family. Well, thank you, brother. I'll pass it along. You'll see him on Saturday. We'll be live for World's End. Base Beers with the $2 Super Chat. Best King of the Ring. Booker, Bret Hart, Steve Austin, Macho Man, or Sheamus?
Macho King was pretty cool, man. I got to say, Macho King was pretty cool, but it was a gimmick, whereas Bret, if we're talking tournaments, it's Bret in 93. But as far as kings, like people that kind of wore the crown and lived the gimmick, I'm a big Macho King guy.
Can't shit on Macho King. I'll probably go with Bret being the best out of the ones you mentioned. That's probably the best tournament in my opinion too. What it did for the out of all those that you named, what it did for the most is Steve Austin. So,
yeah, but that doesn't make him the best king of the ring, though.
No, he's not. I go with Brett. Jericho, 8131 with the $10 super chat. A fan spent $600 on a Ric Flair cameo as a Christmas gift for his dad. Buff only for Rick.
Yeah, well, so I have that here. Actually, I was gonna bring that up. I will momentarily. I have to read the review. It's brief, but it's worth reading.
All right. Oh, Jericho, thank you for the 10. I don't want to ruin Jason's closing segment here. He says 11 out of 10 greatest Christmas gift ever. Okay. And does vids with a $1.99. How do you cut a small pizza? With Little Caesars. That's a good one. I like that one. All right, man. That's all we got. Running time for tonight's TNT, less than 3 hours. Look at that. Maybe the first time ever.
Well, Ric Flair is on Cameo. And there's at least one person who was not thrilled with the cameo that he received from Ric Flair. Ric Flair is charging $600 per cameo. So this is a review from someone who claims that he bought a cameo. He said, I paid $600 for Rick to sit in a restaurant blasted out of his mind and say my dad's name wrong. I paid for him to say Merry Christmas to my father, Buff. He called him Barf and just read the instructions word for word. I'm super disappointed I spent money on this. I would have gotten someone who actually puts the effort in for $600. To a regular person, that's a lot of money. I'm not going to give a Christmas video to my father with his hero calling him Barf. So there you go. Be careful. If you're going to spend your money on a Ric Flair cameo, you could probably put that money to better use somewhere else.
Oh my God, man. That is pretty sad. But I'm not surprised by that whatsoever.
Although I will say, like, if I was to have gotten a cameo for my father, if he was around when cameos were a thing, and somebody mispronounced his name as Barf, he would love it. Like, he'd fucking laugh his ass off. It'd be like the greatest gift ever.
Oh my God. Thank you guys very much for a great show tonight. Abbreviated as it may be, we'll be back next week for episode 127. We'll go over our best and worst of 2025. I'm going to leave it up to Jason to sound us off here for this Tuesday. Follow us on social media, YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. You guys know what to do with all that stuff. It's down below. Jason, sound us off for another Tuesday night.
Well, I'm just going to keep it simple here and just wish everybody watching and that is celebrating a very Merry Christmas. I know many people will be celebrating tomorrow night, be hanging out with friends or family. And so to all of you, I say I hope you have a great holiday. And I want to thank you because it's been another incredible year here for TNT as we come to the end of 2025. We got one left, and we're going to have a big show next week. We're going to go through all the year-end awards, and hopefully you all will be there with us. We can save the best for last here in 2025.
There you go, guys. Thank you very much for a great night here on Tuesday night. We'll see you next week for episode 127 right here on Tuesday Night Titans. We'll see you guys later.